Run! Run for your lives! There's a monster! He's chasing us down the street!
Okay, not sure what that was about, but welcome to the 7th episode of Bonus Features with Alex and Robert. I'm Robert.
And I'm Alex.
Alright, so, what's going on with the weather? Okay, it's like 60 degrees right now, very nice, but need I remind you that 2 days ago it fucking snowed.
Yeah, I was driving when it was snowing a couple nights ago.
And what is that about? I mean, I know it's like at this point, I've lived here my whole life, I should be used to this shit.
I think it's every 5 years, at least, it snows in April.
Well, I think my dad's been going to the White Sox home openers for like the past couple years, and I think he said like 75% of them it snowed, which is just baffling to me. Like, what the hell?
And that does it for weather. And now on to sports. Nothing to report.
Yes.
All right. Moving on to traffic.
I'm sure it exists.
I'm sure it's happening.
Yes.
All right, on to news.
All right, in our first news story here, we have the premiere trailer for the film The Meg, starring Jason Statham. Rainn Wilson's also in this. Ruby Rose is in this. It's directed by John Turteltaub, who's brought us such classics as Three Ninjas, Cool Runnings, both National Treasures.
Well, hold on now. I did not know that the director of Three Ninjas was at the helm with this.
He sure is, and this is, of course, a movie about a megalodon that is terrorizing the world, or at least China's deep coast, it seems. This is a pretty bonkers trailer.
I kind of was amazed at the simplicity of it.
Yeah.
Because usually with a movie trailer, even if it seems simple, there's something in play. Oh, well, you gotta find this, and this to stop this portal from opening. Or, oh, but the bad guy, he's so-and-so's dad. This just literally looks like there's a big shark. It's gonna eat people. We have to kill it.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that simplicity actually ends up being a boon for this movie, like being the thing I like about it.
Real quick, isn't Li Bingbing also in this?
She sure is.
Huh.
There's some other people in this, but this is going to be the Jason Statham show, I feel, you know?
That's what it seems like, and I just think it's odd that Jason Statham, who recently insulted, like a couple years ago, the Avengers movies for being too CGI-driven. Yeah. And it's kind of like, wow.
What is this, then?
What exactly? It's like, this is not your shoot-'em-up, transporter-style grounded action movie.
Mm-hmm. This was originally Eli Roth was in talks to direct this originally. Okay. I don't know how you would have felt about this.
I don't know, because Three Ninjas is a classic,
That's
a timeless
true.
Classic.
As is National Treasure and Cool Runnings.
It's a good track record.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mention any of the crappier movies he's made. I mean, he's got some turds in there, like, you know, he made that movie Phenomenon.
Never heard of it.
Exactly. He made that movie Last Vegas with, like, was it Michael Douglas and, like, Kevin Kline? And
was that the one where it's like,
Pacino,
we're old, but we're still cool?
Yeah. It's just, like, typical, like,
we're old and we're still cool. Yeah, that's a subgenre.
Oh, yeah. And it's, I don't know. I'm the trailer looks fun.
I think this will probably be bad.
Oh, in a good way.
But I can't really tell. I think it might just be bad.
That's true. It could be.
I'm hoping likely imminent that it's going to be bad.
I'm hoping it's like Eraser bad, where, you know, we're getting, Jason Statham punching sharks and saying, you know, like, remember when in Eraser when Arnie punched that alligator and he was like, your luggage.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I don't think that Jason Statham is capable of delivering one-liners like that. Well,
yeah, he has one in the trailer, right? Doesn't he say, like, he says something snarky, like he borderline looks in the camera and says something where it's like, oh man,
yeah, but
this is that kind of thing.
But it's in the Jason Statham way, where it just kind of like sort of makes you like,
yeah,
but
he's
sort
still
of makes
serious.
Sort of makes you groan at the same time.
Yeah,
with Arnie, he's having fun.
Yeah, I'm not sure about this. Like, I'm scared, not of the shark. I'm just scared of the premise of the movie. I'm like, could this be fun? Could it be like a simple, good romp? I don't know.
I think it's probably going to be bad, and I will, you know what? I'll catch it on FX on a rainy day when I'm bored, and then maybe I'll watch it. So, Robert, you had some interesting news about a certain independent small film that will be playing at Cannes.
That we talked about last week, yes. In fact, Solo, a Star Wars story, will be premiering at this year's Cannes Film Festival. That will be Thursday, I believe that's the 10th, at 1:42 p.m. And yeah, that'll be its debut.
Yeah, it's nothing screams out film festival like Star Wars.
Oh yeah, well...
I mean, I think that's actually kind of cool, though.
You'll be surprised. This was a strange story to me for when I heard it for the first time, but then I read that I guess both Star Wars Attack of the Clones and Star Wars Revenge of the Sith premiered at Cannes.
They did?
Yeah.
Really?
It's so weird, but I read that and I'm like, really? And it's a part of the press release. They said...
It's just like, I thought Cannes was, mostly similar to Sundance.
Yeah. But it said, yeah, here we go. It's the press release. In 2002, it was Star Wars Attack of the Clones. And in 2005, Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. In 2018, what is one of the greatest legends in the history of cinema... what is one of the greatest legends in the history of cinema returns to the red carpet at the next Festival de Cannes. So, yeah, I mean, obviously I wasn't around nor paying attention, to the film scene back then, but I guess it did premiere there. Let's see if they can go 2 for 3 on good Star Wars movies premiering at Cannes.
Hey man, I like the prequels even though they're bad.
I like Revenge of the Sith. I'll say I like Revenge of the Sith, and I will say that is the best prequel, like objectively speaking. I like Phantom Menace, but it sucks.
Darth Maul is awesome, though.
Yeah, but there's a lot of bad shit in there, man.
Right,
but Darth Maul is awesome. It's just they kill his ass, man. They smoke his ass.
See, that's what I thought was stupid. It's like Obi-Wan's supposed to be a noob, and then all of a sudden he can kill this dude who just killed his master. That doesn't make sense. Yeah. But aside from that, I'm just saying, I know there's a lot of problems.
We could talk all day about prequel problems.
Right, but I think people overlook the things that they did right.
Yeah,
the action is awesome in all 3 of them.
Yeah, especially in 3 for me. But one thing's for sure, I was surprised to find out that 2 of the 3 prequels ended up premiering at Cannes. I did not know that. And who knows? Maybe I don't know what it means for Solo, a Star Wars story, and if you're into the whole history repeating itself thing, but it worked out once for the past 2 times. Revenge of the Sith was pretty good and did pretty damn good. But who knows what'll happen with Solo.
I think a lot of people would debate you on that. Again, I'm an outlier. I like all 3, even though they're terrible. But I think uniformly all 3 are considered bad. All right, enough Star Wars. Next up, we've got a new trailer out for the Austrian slasher film called Party Hard, Die Young. It's a slasher movie that takes place during a music festival on an island. And I couldn't help but realize this is, again, like The Ranger. It's a perfect scenario for a horror movie, especially because music festivals are such a heightened situation, There's just a lot of people, especially at EDM shows, there are a lot of flashing lights, people on certain substances looking at said flashing lights. So it's sort of it's a crazy situation to begin with. And you add slasher, and it's about as crazy as it can get.
And the trailer's pretty crazy. It definitely looks visually pretty striking, and I'm a big fan of the aesthetic in terms of, the horror and that setting. I think it could be good. I'm really, really hard-pressed to find anything I dislike about the trailer.
Sorry, I was just going to say that's something else I noticed is the cinematography seems like it's in a league of its own.
Yeah.
Like, it reminds me of older horror movies.
For sure.
Kind of stuff you'd see out of Carpenter.
Yeah.
But a little more colorful. Because,
sure.
Again, that's I think what makes it look different is it's probably one of the more colorful horror movies.
It looks fun.
Sure does. Do you know who's directing this by chance?
Yes, his name is Dominic Hartle. He's directed a film back in 2016 called Attack of the Lederhosen Zombies.
Really? I've heard of that.
Yeah, it definitely it looks different than this. It looks a little bit more Sharknado-y than this.
Yeah, I remember seeing a trailer or a poster or something. I remember it was definitely more comedic.
Right, and aside from that, he's done a lot of shorts. He did a movie called Beautiful Girl I've never really heard anything about, but this could be his big break. Who knows?
I think at least should put his name on the map to get hired down the road.
Yeah.
All right. So there's that. All right, guys. Thank you for listening to the 7th episode of the podcast. We hope you tune in next time.
Whoa, what are you doing?
What?
We only got through like 2 to 3 news stories, for fuck's sake.
Hold on. Okay, I'm sorry. I stand corrected. We have about 2 pages of things to get through. Yeah. So
okay.
What's the next
Trying to
news?
cut out early on me. Our next news story is Bumblebee screenwriter Christina Hodson has been tapped to write the screenplay for the forthcoming Barbara Gordon / Batgirl film. She, of course, has credits under her name for films like Shut In and Unforgettable.
So Shut In was the one with Naomi Watts.
Yeah.
And everyone said it was bad, right?
Yeah.
And then Unforgettable was the one with Katherine Heigl, right?
Yeah.
And they said that was real bad, too.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means there's a slight chance that her script for this could also be bad?
Yeah.
Wow, okay. So, do you think this is going to get made? That's my real question,
man.
because
there's the $1 million question.
that's the DC question.
Think about how many projects have been pitched, announced, that are just we've seen no movement from. The Cyborg movie, the Deathstroke movie with the director, with Gareth Evans.
Yeah.
The what's it called? Blue Beetle, Booster Gold movie. You know, I mean, there's just been so many. Justice League Dark. You know, there's been so many of these like kind of non-tentpole DC character property movies that have just been floundering out in I don't want to say development hell, but it feels like it, you know?
I would say that's exactly what it is.
Well, I mean, it's.
I get what you mean.
Yeah.
It hasn't been quite long enough to
Yeah.
call it full development hell, but we're getting close.
Yeah. It's just weird, and I guess she's written, she's developed or worked on the writer's room, I'm not sure, but she has writer's input on the Birds of Prey / Gotham City Sirens movie that is happening.
Okay. See, that's the one of all the ones they announced. I would say that and probably the second crack at Green Lantern in whatever form that is. Those were the 2 that interested me the most.
Right. So it seems as though she definitely has experience in writing the Barbara Gordon character. So maybe that's why they brought her on for this. For my money, would I have decided, to see Joss Whedon's take on it? Sure, but according to him, he didn't have an idea for it, which is, we talked about that before.
I don't
it's
really
just a
know.
Baffling development. Like, what the hell?
I don't know. It sounds like his heart just wasn't in it.
Yeah. I think he might have been left cold by the whole Justice League debacle.
That, but also for him to just leave such a weird cryptic quote, it's just kind of like, who cares? Shit happens.
Yeah, it's like, okay, bye. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to say, well, let's just wait for Bumblebee. It's like, I'd rather not have that movie happen, thank you.
Preaching to the choir.
But it's like, if it's by some weird who the hell knows chance, if it's good and I'm like, singing a different tune here, like, wow, I was wrong. I'm not saying she's a bad writer. I'm just saying all the produced credits I've seen from her as a writer are bad movies.
Okay.
And the sample size is small. They're 2 movies, but they're bad movies. They're both pretty fucking bad.
Okay, but here's something to consider about Bumblebee.
Mm-hmm.
What do they have, like 10 writers on those?
Oh, yeah,
normally?
they got a writer's room for that, for everything Transformers now.
Yeah, so I don't know if Bumblebee being good or bad would really be necessarily
on her.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Yeah, it's weird.
But basically this is not the best news, but who knows?
I'm glad there's movement on it. Honestly, when Joss Whedon dropped out of it, there was something in the back of my mind saying, okay, goodbye project, like I'm never going to see a Batgirl movie, but it's interesting that they're still moving forward with it.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm still on my thing where I pretty much don't believe it until it starts shooting.
Until I see a trailer, sometimes even.
Yeah, that's that too. But
because they almost made that Justice League movie with George Miller, right? Weren't they shooting that almost, or in pre-pro or something?
They were doing, I think, like costume tests and stuff.
Jesus.
I don't think they ever got to shooting.
But even that, it's like...
That was also a while ago, so I wouldn't have been following that.
It was like 2000,
as closely.
Like what? 2010? No. Was it way earlier, right? 2003 or something?
I have that's what I'm saying. It would have been like I was too young to care to follow this stuff as closely.
Yeah, so who knows with this? I'm not a big fan of her work, but I'm, open to surprises.
Same here. All right, up next, Robert, you want to see A Prayer Before Dawn this weekend?
I do, actually. I'm a big fan of that movie's trailers and such. Looks good.
Oh, wait, we can't see it because it's been moved to August 10th.
That was very cruel of you to do to me.
Yeah, I know.
What the hell, A24?
Yeah, it was cruel of A24 to do it to me first.
Yeah, you showed me this and I was very discouraged because that movie looks fantastic. And we talked about it in our, April preview?
We've talked about it in our April preview. We've talked about it a couple other times, so just like in mentioning.
Consider this an official revision. Prayer Before Dawn is not an April movie anymore.
Yeah, it got moved to August, and here's what I don't understand. I literally scoured the internet for everything I could find, and for the life of me, there's zero explanation. I think it was maybe a month ago they had April 13th lined up as its release date, but then all of a sudden, this is how I literally found out it got moved. I was looking for showtimes near me, and I thought it was strange that there weren't any showtimes. And then I decided to Google things to further investigate, and then found out it was moved to August 10th.
Oh boy.
And the only two sources I could find that had anything to say about this were IMDb and comingsoon.net. And both times it was just like, it's been moved. Or not even it's been moved. It just says the release date, like nothing weird happened.
Yeah, it seems as though they probably... I'm thinking they moved it because of the other movies coming out, which is Rampage and that shitty Truth or Dare movie.
So Truth or Dare, Rampage, and then... and then the next 2 weeks, because it's an indie movie, so can't keep it in theaters for a convenient amount of time.
Right.
So then it's last week... hypothetically, as they usually go only about 2 weeks, would be against Infinity War.
Yeah. It seems as though that's probably why they moved it, but either way, it's discouraging. And
which is weird, because I guess in a way you could say that a lot of those three movies would be an overlap audience with A Prayer Before Dawn.
Mm-hmm. As opposed to like a Lady Bird or like a First Reformed,
Yeah, that's what I mean, is this is, for an A24 movie, it's basically their version of an action movie.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm very pissed about this.
Yeah,
not gonna lie.
Kind of sucks.
And no one's talking about this. I found almost zero articles about this.
And pretty much no one's talking about this movie. Like, we're getting trailers and, like, the occasional, like, whatever ad, but I'm not seeing any, like, this isn't showing up on any anticipated lists or whatever.
I just don't get it. There's a reason I keep spazzing out about this on here. It's because it looks good. It looks really good. This is my second most anticipated movie of the year.
Yeah.
Behind, obviously, Infinity War, but you know.
Yeah. And if you guys haven't seen the trailer, obviously, you should probably check it out because it's something special.
Yeah, I'm going to remind everyone once again, A Prayer Before Dawn. Check out the trailer, and then check out the movie in about 4 months from now.
On August 10th.
But don't worry, there's more negative news on the way.
Yeah.
So, did you see Toy Story 3?
Of course.
Didn't you think it was great?
I loved it. I thought it was a great conclusion to the Toy Story franchise.
Right? It was like, sometimes you love something and, it gave you great memories, a toy or whatever, but, time moves on.
And you gotta let it go.
Gotta let it go. But apparently Pixar doesn't believe in letting it go, because we're getting Toy Story 4 as it has a confirmed date for June 21st of next year, 2019.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about, not necessarily that release date, of course, but just the premise of this movie entirely.
I just don't get where they're going to take it next, because 3 pretty much wrapped it up entirely. So the toys, they live with this new family, right?
Yeah.
Because Andy gave them away, and it's like, this is what happens, you get older, like, move on.
Right.
So you're just completely undoing the message of the third one by even making a 4th movie.
Right, and I understand the counter-argument, which is, well, they did make a spin-off movie, which was like the Toy Story of Terror, which takes place after 3, and it's about them with this new family, but it's like, that's a 20-minute short. Like, it's not an installment, it's a supplementary, like, it's borderline like Lion King 1.5. you know,
Right.
where it's like, yeah, I guess they made a sequel to it, but and it's good, like they play it every Halloween, but still, I don't consider that an installment of the franchise, and I simply I don't think there should have been a 4. They're just 3 ended on such a high note to where if they make anything that's even remotely like not as good, it's just going to be a disappointment. Like, I don't understand why you would touch a franchise that's so treasured, you know, and try and catch lightning in a bottle for a 4th quill.
Not to mention, I heard that Don Rickles died right before he could have recorded any dialogue.
Right, yeah, I don't know if they're going to scrap, they probably won't scrap Mr. Potato Head. I mean, he'll probably be in there. I'm not sure who they'll get to, you know, maybe pantomime his voice. I don't know. They'll figure something out. They did it with Jim Varney back when he passed away.
Right.
He was Slink, right? Or
Slinky Dog.
Slinky Dog, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know what to think about this. I thought the franchise ended, honestly, and I was glad it did. Not because I didn't want it around, but I thought it ended appropriately. I don't know what to think of this. I guess I'll wait till I see a trailer. If the trailer convinces me otherwise.
I think the only way they could make this more interesting is it turns out Andy wants them back, and he breaks into their house. Because it started with him collecting, what are those stupid things called? Pops?
Oh, yeah.
So he collects too many of those, and then he's like, all right, you know what? I want those back. They're collectible.
Okay.
And then he rings the doorbell, and he just shows up, and it's like, hi, can I have the things I gave your, like, 5-year-old daughter back? No. Okay, bye. Dumbasses. They think they can stop me. He just, like, rolls out a big, like, Home Alone style map, like blueprint map with funny shit on it.
This sounds like a movie crossover extravaganza, and I think Ethan Hunt needs to make an appearance in this heist film.
I was gonna say Ocean's 11,
or that Danny Ocean. We'll get some Matt Damon going too. Steven Soderbergh can direct his first like animated thing.
So I think what we're trying to say is that we're not too fond of this number 4.
This should have been a franchise that ended back in 2010.
But it won't. It'll keep going. And then, 30 years down the line or whatever, well, we've already done Tarzan 7.
Yeah.
We've done Mulan for the 5th time.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we're out of ideas. What we got?
Live action Toy Story.
Oh, don't even fucking say that.
Because it's a dangerous possibility. No?
It's going to happen now. God
now that I
damn
said it.
You just spoke it into
existence.
Spoken it into existence.
Oh, God. Well, you heard it here first.
Toy Story live action coming at you sometime in the future.
Yes.
Okay, so this weekend, this is not exactly movies or TV. I mean, it's TV of a sort. There's a lot of stuff that went on with UFC this weekend. It was pretty nutty.
Yes, it breached into some of like the everyman news. I think something involving Conor McGregor and a dolly being thrown at a bus.
That's right.
Okay, explain.
Okay, so let's start from the beginning. Okay, so Khabib is a middleweight, and he's wrecking everyone right now.
Okay.
The last fight before this past one, he fought this guy, Edson Barboza, and just ragdolled him, destroyed him. He landed something like 96 ground strikes on him.
Wow.
Yeah, it was to the point where I was entertained for rounds 1 and 2, and then round 3, I'm like, please, just stop it.
Stop the fight.
He's already dead.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the Hamburglar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
God.
Or Krusty Burglar.
Oh, yeah.
But it was like that bad. But this guy's just dominant. So obviously there's been some rivalry, but Conor McGregor's just sitting on his, throne of money. So he's just avoiding this fight, or at least it seems that way for the time being. And so Khabib has to fight someone. So that he was going to fight the interim middleweight champion, Tony Ferguson. And I kid you not, Tony Ferguson gets hurt on April Fool's Day, Easter Sunday. Everyone thought it was a goof. Everyone thought it was a joke. But no, he has to pull out because he injures himself. He tripped over like a cable or something.
Okay.
That's the weird part. It wasn't, it was during training camp, but it wasn't like he was kicking stuff or whatever. So he gets injured, has to pull out. So they get the featherweight champion, which is the, division below middleweight in UFC. This guy, Max Holloway. but he couldn't get cleared to fight on such short notice. So we get a third opponent for Khabib in the span of a week. And then apparently on press day, Conor McGregor flew in with like a goon squad of 30 people.
Okay.
And these guys who were guarding the doors apparently let them in when they weren't supposed to. And Conor was apparently upset about Khabib Nurmagomedov, the guy who I've been talking about, confronting one of Conor's teammates. You know, they're part of the same MMA gym. This guy, Artem Lobov. Apparently, Khabib was confronting him about calling him a pussy or something online. And then Artem denied it, even though there's a video of him saying it. He's like, someone translated in the Russian. It's like, why'd you call me this? It's like, I didn't. It's like, you did. And he gives him one of these like tiny little slaps, like a disrespectful one. And sure, if you're right there, it might cause a little ruckus, maybe a brawl. A brawl, keep in mind, like maybe fists thrown. But no, Conor McGregor decided to throw something else. So he took exception to this, goes to the bus where pretty much the entire fight card is. It's got Rose Namajunas, sorry. Ray Borg is there, and a couple other fighters, Michael Chiesa. He throws a dolly, like a hand truck. So it's a heavy object at the window. It cuts Michael Chiesa's face. He has to pull out from the card because the cut's so bad. And he wasn't the only one injured. Ray Borg had lacerations under his eye, apparently.
Jesus.
Yeah. So, again, people, especially the fighters who got injured by this, are not happy with McGregor. And now he's in deep shit, it seems like.
We went to court for this, right?
Well, he got arrested.
Yeah.
And he's not going to go to jail. Right. But he might get sued by Michael Chiesa and Ray Borg, which they're well in their right, because fighting's their livelihood, and getting yanked off the card
sounds like it's a small price to pay for Conor McGregor, considering what he could have lost, which is like, he could have went to jail.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is he messed with their livelihood by injuring them. And I know it wasn't his intention, but like, what is your intention when you throw a large, heavy dolly through a window?
Yeah.
So Khabib had to go through 3 opponents to finally fight one, and he did win. And apparently Conor McGregor threw this thing at a window.
That's pretty weird. There's some drama going on in UFC.
And I've seen a lot of people thinking it was a publicity stunt, but I'm not so sure, because McGregor he's been acting a fool in the last couple years. Because there's an incident where he jumped over the cage at Bellator, which is another fighting league similar to UFC. And then there was this seemed like rumors and bullshit, but there's something about him getting into it with the Irish mob at a bar.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a pattern of behavior there.
Yeah, even if the bar incident isn't true, it's like he's kind of a head case.
They definitely have him on video throwing this dolly.
Multiple angles. It's unmistakable. And the best angle is from the bus. Yeah. When you see Conor and Artem Lobov, the guy who got slapped, who this was kind of all about. He rushes, but it's too late. He's like, no! And then his look on his face when Conor throws it through, he's like, fuck. Because he got kicked off the card. So 3 fighters were taken off. 1 from injury. 2 fighters were taken off. I don't think Ray Borg was fighting that. I don't know. I can't remember if Borg was supposed to be fighting that night. But for sure Michael Chiesa had to get yanked off the card. And Artem Lobov was kicked off the card. So, I don't know. This is just crazy. And part of me thinks this is somehow at the same time not what UFC needed and almost exactly what it needed.
Yeah. People are talking about it.
Yeah, because, I mean, crazy shit like this used to happen. There was the incident with Muhammad Ali where he was harassing someone. I can't remember who it was. I don't remember. It was Foreman or Frazier or someone. That he's in the guy's ear while he's rolling craps at a casino. And the guy pulls out this like air pistol. Oh, God. So it makes a loud noise, but it wasn't a real gun. But he was just tired of him bugging him.
Jesus.
So it's like, this is nothing new with combat sports, the psychological warfare thing.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Tyson, that was a big, huge thing. All the Mike Tyson press conferences and, like, how, like, much of a shit shows, like, they always were.
But this is different because this sounds like he wasn't even supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Or at least, it didn't seem like if he was supposed to be there, he definitely wasn't supposed to be near the bus. But this is interesting, and I just think this is hilarious in all the wrong ways.
Oh, yeah.
That this kind of happened when they've sort of had a bunch of problems. But with John Jones being, in trouble because of supplement usage or whatever. And he claims it was just tainted stuff or whatever, but who knows. So yeah, now you're all up to speed on that.
Yeah, I sure am.
You know what? I've got a question for you. So obviously, I'm dying to see this McGregor-Khabib fight. As an outsider, do you have a little more interest in this now?
Well, now...
Maybe?
Yeah, now knowing all the context of it, I definitely feel wrapped up in the soap opera that is this UFC dispute. I'd say so.
That's the thing that's crazy is it'd almost be good if he gets sued by all these people. Because think about it. He loses all his money, and then what has he got left? Because he's going to avoid jail. Let's not kid ourselves. Mm-hmm. He's going to avoid jail, but let's say he gets sued by Rose Namajunas, Michael Chiesa, Ray Borg, and, maybe a couple other fighters. Mm-hmm. And they all take a slice of his pie. Mm-hmm. Then he's got nothing. It's like, well, Connor, I do have a job for you.
Yeah.
It involves fighting a one Khabib Nurmagomedov.
Yeah.
Or is it Nurmagomedov? I don't know. I've heard both. I have no idea how to pronounce it. The guy, Khabib.
Yes.
You gotta fight Khabib.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, that whole fiasco. So fans and non-fans, get ready for this fight to happen at some point. And that is the rest of the story.
Okay. So moving on, our next story is a bit of an update. We talked a bit, I think it was either one episode ago or 2 episodes ago.
No, it was last episode.
Last one, about Apple developing their own content, getting into the game with the likes of Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, all that. Now, we have a bit of news here on certain projects, the content of which they are developing. They're making a TV show based on Isaac Asimov's Foundation series of novels. And this series is going to be developed by David S. Goyer, who, of course, co-wrote the entire Nolan trilogy of Batman films and Man of Steel, and Josh Friedman, who was a showrunner, I think, for Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles. I wasn't very familiar with this project, or at least the novel itself, but I got through like half of the premise, and I was like, all right, science-y stuff, sure, I'll watch it. Like, I'll be interested in it,
Yeah, that's what I heard isn't it a series of 3 novels, though?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, okay, see, you said novel, I thought it was 3, but anyway.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely 3.
Yeah, I kind of read a little bit about it. I'm like, I had the same reaction, science-y stuff. Mm-hmm. And I saw David Goyer, and you know what? I think the guy's all right.
Yeah, I mean, he's got some good credits.
I know he catches a little flack, but I think for the most part, well, depending on what era you look at, he's got some really good credits.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, what was the one he directed the funniest Blade movie.
Okay, there's that.
Yeah.
But I guess things have moved quickly with this, since we were just hearing reports that they might consider this, and I thought maybe we might hear something a couple months from now. But yeah, apparently they've already began.
Yeah, and they're full steam ahead. There's some estimates, people saying that they've invested $1 billion for new shows. Such shows as, there's one that they're developing from Ron Moore, who created Battlestar Galactica.
Okay.
They're doing a reboot of Amazing Stories, futuristic Hunger Games Catching Fire-esque drama from Stephen Knight, and an untitled drama about a network morning show starring Reese Witherspoon and Jennifer Aniston. So they have, there's a lot of different things in that catalog of shows, and it definitely looks like, with $1 billion, that's a lot of money to be thrown at TV, so they're definitely serious about this.
Well, as I mentioned, Apple's got some cash, so that's no problem.
For sure.
Because they were considering buying Sony.
Yeah.
It almost felt like it was an insult.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Sony, I heard things weren't going so well. We could always, buy you out and control you.
Right. Pretty much.
But yeah, it sounds like there's a lot of sci-fi, which doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
It seems almost like perfect that a tech company like Apple would want to do sci-fi shows.
Yeah, if anything, I would have, 15 years ago, if you were to tell me, like, hey, Robert, there's going to be some companies here developing their own TV shows, like, outside of TV. What do you think they're going to be? I would not have said Amazon or Netflix or Yahoo. I would have said, okay, maybe, like, Microsoft or, like,
Right.
Apple, like, something that's, like, taking over the world. Like, Netflix back in the day was just, like, this, like, kind of, like, novelty service. That's like, oh, that's neat, It's weird where we've come. But it's definitely looking like Apple is starting to get into that arena themselves.
All right, so that does it for the news.
Actually, no. We still have one more news story.
Oh, okay. All right, so we've got more news.
Yeah. So this comes courtesy of Leonardo DiCaprio's Appian Way production company. Sebastian Stan is landing the lead role in Beat the Reaper, which is an adaptation of Josh Bazel, I think is how you pronounce it, Josh Bazel's novel.
Josh's novel.
Josh, good old Josh, which follows a young ER doctor whose life is upended when a patient recognizes him from his past life as a mafia hitman. He's forced to fight to stay alive, blah, 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 man-on-the-run thriller, mob. Sounds interesting. Sebastian Stan's good, and there's also a director attached, Gore Verbinski, who directed the first Pirates, all that mess. How do you feel about it?
Wait, who is this according to?
This is per the tracking board.
Okay. Just want to throw that out there.
Yes, they are a website. A good one.
Okay. But don't go on them too often. Come to us first.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah, this actually sounds really interesting, and I really like this premise.
Same.
And I'm totally on board, and Sebastian Stan seems perfect for a role that kind of requires a sort of creepy vibe to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's he's great in Captain America, the Winter Soldier, as the Winter Soldier, and pretty much every other appearance. I liked him in I, Tonya as Jeff Galooly.
Yeah, I was hearing a lot of good things about him in that.
He's great. He's so great in that fucking movie. It's honestly the best thing I've seen from him. Like, weirdly, because I love the Winter Soldier, the character, and
Right.
Bucky Barnes. But yeah, I'm interested in this. I always like good thrillers. This seems like it could be a fun one. I've never read the novel, but I guess Leo likes it, so that's good. We'll see what happens. I like Gore Verbinski. He's a good director, even though he makes some questionable things now and then. His movies always look good.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like this premise sounds like something that would work well with his style.
Yeah, gritty and like dark looking, kind of like Finchery. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm interested.
That's kind of what I was thinking. Yeah, so I'm down.
Same.
All right, so now we're going to do a couple short reviews and then one long review. So our first short review will be of the movie Blockers, which was a comedy that came out just recently.
Yes, and it was on our list of, was it April movies?
Yeah, it was on our April list. I was looking forward to this.
Yes, me too. So what did you end up thinking about it?
Well, I was absolutely shocked by how bad this was.
Really?
Yeah, it had a lot of problems,
Wow.
throughout. And one of them, I would say, was it had reference-itis, this thing that I absolutely hate. And it had a couple scenes where it'd be a minute and a half of just talking about something they referenced, at, like a movie like Fast and Furious or something like that. And they just keep going, and it just wasn't funny. And on top of that, a lot of the characters were very poorly written. And it was weird because I felt like a lot of the acting was fine for certain lines, and then the horrible lines that were stupid would come out sort of awkwardly,
Right.
almost like in a stifled manner.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that sucks.
The only person who would commit to lines really hard and miss was Leslie Mann. Like,
Really?
I'm not a big fan of her, and
Yeah.
I was willing to give her a chance, and I see that was all for naught.
How were Ike Barinholtz and John Cena?
John Cena, again, it's just like his character sucked. It was sort of like I'm the jock dad who's protective. And there's, I think, honestly, maybe 2 lines he said that were genuinely funny. And I felt like it was him, being himself rather than being this character.
Right.
That made the lines really work. And Ike Barinholtz, it's interesting. His character is supposed to be a big buffoon, but he was actually sort of the more reasonable one of the 3 parents.
Yeah, I've heard that honestly too from other people.
Yeah, and I thought that he did okay. Like he was one of the reasons you could stick around and watch the movie. He was pretty funny. But I gotta say this right now. The fucking short-sighting of Hannibal Buress needs to stop.
Yeah.
The guy is so funny, and they gave him all garbage lines, and it's just like, his delivery is so good that he can turn, pretty mediocre lines into, like, decent laughs, and he's barely in this, and he just needs to be featured more.
Yeah.
Maybe not, like, I get that he sort of has that on-purpose, off-putting delivery.
Right.
And I get that that's not maybe a leading man thing. But maybe they should try it. Or at least give him a pretty big supporting role.
Yeah.
Because that's like, it looks like Tag might have that, but I'm not really interested in Tag.
Me neither. It looks really weird.
It kind of looks like it'll be just like this.
Yeah.
A lot of reference-itis. And my favorite thing this movie has a lot of terrible improv.
Oh, man.
Okay? The good kind of improv I should not know that you're improving. But this bullshit new style where it's like, oh, well, I'm just gonna, mumble and then do this and, well, I'm just gonna keep talking and I'm just gonna say nothing, blah, 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 blah. Well, yeah, well, short, choppy, yeah.
Yeah.
I fucking hate that rhythm. It's like a recognizable rhythm in comedy that I cannot stand. And there's a lot of that in this, and I don't know. This movie sucked. I was very disappointed.
How were the girls and their counterpart dates, the boys?
Okay, of the dates, well, you had Man Bun Loser, Jonas Brother Reject, and Chubby Kid with a Fedora. And it's like, it's just like, let's take all of the most garbage millennial archetypes and make them these 3 loser dates, the counterpart characters. It's like, great. And I think part of that was played for comedy. And there's, one of the 2 only funny lines that I remember with John Cena kind of involved that. I would say the Fedora Kid was probably the best of the 3 acting wise.
Right.
The other 2 are completely forgettable, completely generic, and absolutely added nothing to the plot.
Okay.
And again, the girls were all good, except it's just some of those the lines that just weren't funny. Like, you could tell they kind of like struggled to get it out and make it not sound awkward or stupid.
Right.
But yeah, all 3 of them, because there's the shorter one with glasses, there's the Indian girl who plays John Cena's daughter, and then Leslie Mann's daughter, who's the blonde girl. I don't know their names, but they're all fine. And again, it's just like the acting isn't the issue. It's just the writing here was horrendous.
Yeah, I was looking at this, and it looks like the official credits, it's got like 5 writers.
That makes so much... That's what I thought. I was like, I felt like this was written by like 3 writers. Like, one who wanted to be preachy, one who actually wanted to make something funny, and one who's just like, dicks and farts! Dicks and farts! It's like, but how do we... And then the smart one's like, but how do we set up those dick and fart jokes? No, we don't need a setup. We can just be gross.
Right.
That's the other thing. I have no problem with crude humor. But like any other humor, it has to be warranted or, set up well. And it just wasn't.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah, it sure does. You know what else sucks? When the only good lines are all in the trailer.
That does suck also.
Yeah, I mean, this was one of the worst offenders of that in recent memories. Like, another one that I thought did that a lot was the Dictator? The one with Sacha Baron Cohen.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of the best parts were in the trailer in that. And this is the most recent one that rings true. Huh. This really sucks, especially after Game Night was so good.
Right.
I was thinking, regular comedies were back. And this had such a promising premise, and it had some things that could have worked, but the problem was, I think, in this case, where they went big, it just didn't make sense, and where they went, subtle or smaller, they should have gone bigger.
So what would you end up giving it out of 5?
Okay, I say this is generous, but because there were a few genuine laughs. Because there were a few, like, scattered.
Okay.
But legit, like, I was saying 2 lines from John Cena.
Okay.
So overall, there's a few legitimate laughs, and it had a workable premise. And I feel like this is generous, but 1.5 out of 5.
Damn.
It got so bad by by 2/3 of the way into the movie. Again, this goes back to our theater etiquette thing. I saw this with one friend, and we checked around the theater, and we thought, we're really the only ones here? So we looked around. We looked over twice to make sure. And by that time, it's like, time to add riff tracks. And, like, there's one crappy side character. I'm like, hi, character that's an amalgamation of people who don't exist in real life?
Yeah.
Like, we were just talking shit. Like, again, it became like Mystery Science Theater 3000. And you know what they say, life gives you lemons.
Yeah.
Make lemonade. So that's exactly what we did. We decided we've had enough of this. We're going to talk over the boring parts.
Oh, God.
And yeah, so it was a fun theater-going experience, but not because of the movie. So yeah, that's my score, 1.5 out of 5.
Well, Blockers was not the only movie you've seen recently. You also saw The Death of Stalin, is that correct?
Sure did.
So what were your thoughts?
Well, I would say overall it was a pretty good movie.
Okay.
And it wasn't amazing, and it was not in any way terrible. Even the issues I had with it, they didn't detract from it in a super significant way. It was still watchable, but there were a couple things that I found a little strange.
Okay.
Because the movie centers around, obviously, the death of Stalin, and then Malenkov is the next guy in power, played by Jeffrey Tambor, and then Steve Buscemi plays Khrushchev, and I forgot what his name is, the guy who's playing Beria. So Beria and Khrushchev are kind of trying to sabotage each other to gain power to take out Malenkov.
Okay.
And I thought that was all really well done. And as it turns out, there was a lot of stuff in the movie that I thought was fictional that was true.
Really?
And I kind of thought this would have been an interesting movie if they'd just done it as a real historical drama. And because of that, at times the comedy almost felt out of place. And I think that was the main issue with the movie, is it sort of teetered in between wanting to be a legitimate historical movie or a comedy. And I think that they should have maybe just chose one or the other. And I think both would have been workable, because there were some pretty great satirical moments in it. But overall, that was just an issue that kind of plagued it throughout.
Right, that's kind of what I've been hearing. One of the bigger things that I've been hearing is the supporting cast is really good. It's got a big cast, but what did you think about it?
Well, that's one of the highlights, is the cast is great. Olga Kurylenko plays I would say, a more straight role than a comedic one. But just in the little bits she's in, she just nails a character who's just kind of affected by the Soviet Union, even though her character is, I don't know if it's based on a real life character or not. I think it is, on a piano player. So she sort of lives the privileged life, but she says, you killed my parents, my friends, my this, my that. So it's like, even though she's sort of in the upper echelon, it's like a lot of the people who she used to know obviously didn't make it up that far. And other cast members who are great. Obviously, Steve Buscemi is perfect, And it's weird because he's the one, when he talks, it's the most out of place on purpose.
Right,
as I was talking about before. And it's really funny. And same with Jeffrey Tambor. He almost seems like he's like a big lovable doofus almost. There's one actress who played Stalin's daughter.
Yeah, is it Andrea Riseborough?
Yeah, and the thing that I thought was weird with her is, like, I felt like she was playing it way too serious.
Okay.
Which, it was a great performance. And again, that took me out of it. I'm like, what's going on here? And then meanwhile, the guy who plays the son, Vasily, he was he was my favorite part of the movie. Like, every scene he's in, he chews on it, and he just owns it, and he's so ridiculous.
That's Rupert Friend, right?
Yeah, that's the guy. He was... God, I want to see that guy in more stuff, because he was hysterical every scene he was in.
So this movie is currently banned in Russia, Belarus, Kazakhstan, and Kyrgyzstan. Is there anything in this that's really that inflammatory other than just the truth of what actually happened, do you think? Or what do you think?
I think, yeah, basically the only things that are supposedly inflammatory are the truth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people were rounded up and killed. But there's actually, it was weird. This is the one time where the what's going on here, is this satire or is this a serious movie? There's one part at the beginning. I guess this isn't a huge spoiler, if you don't mind me saying so.
Sure.
It's like you see intercut, and you can't tell if they're at the same time or not necessarily. But it's like there's a concert, and Olga Kurilenko, the piano player, is at the concert. But then all of a sudden you see the music changes to score, and it's all intense. And they're rounding people up in trucks, like knocking on doors, dragging people out. And all the people getting dragged out look super scared. But then, cut to, it turns out the guys working at the radio station were supposedly recording the piano recital.
Right.
But Stalin calls and he wants a copy.
Mm-hmm.
But they weren't recording. So then they intercut it eventually to the point where it catches up chronologically. The people that were being rounded up were audience, so there wouldn't be so much room tone. So that, because they're like, we can't record this again. It's like, what are you talking about? Just get her back.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like leaving in the lobby. She's like, I'm not playing again. It's like 20,000 rubles. She's like, fine.
Yeah.
So
nice.
then so it was like, that was the only time when the what is this, a comedy or not, really worked.
Mm-hmm.
And other than that, it was a problem over and over again. But to answer your main question, yeah, I understand why this is banned in those countries, because, I mean, yeah, it's the truth, but, you know, Russia and countries that were under its thumb obviously probably don't want this kind of stuff being out there.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that, obviously, but it's like too fucking bad.
Right. Yeah.
And I guess it's like this, it doesn't surprise me at all because they're notorious for censorship.
Right.
The thing is, it belittles Stalin, and since Stalin was a shitbag of a person, you know, I'm totally for it.
Yeah.
And I guess that's that.
Did you know that this was based on a graphic novel?
I did not, but that makes kind of a lot of sense.
Really?
Well, it just seems like something that'd be in a graphic novel.
It's a French graphic novel at that, too. So, what would you end up giving this out of 5?
Yes, out of 5.
Yes, I almost said 10.
I would give it a 3 out of 5. It was perfectly fine in a lot of ways, but in the end, there's pacing issues here and there, and the teetering back and forth kind of became tedious because there was times where I'm like, I wish this was funnier. But then there's times where I get really wrapped up in the story. I'm like, yeah, shut up with your stupid jokes. I just want to see where this goes.
Yeah.
It was good, though.
That's a passing grade if I've ever heard one.
Yeah, it's perfectly fine. I wouldn't say, like, trip over your own feet to see it, but if you're looking to see something, I would say check it out because it's definitely different than any movies I've seen in a long time. So I applaud them for trying something new, and I would say it was not entirely a failure. So good job, director of this movie. You get a 3 out of 5. All right, now it's time for our long form review. Robert, you saw Ready Player One, is that correct?
It is correct.
Now, that means you also saw a bunch of 80s, 90s, and 2000s references.
Perhaps.
Thrown together, and they called it a movie?
Perhaps.
Okay, so you said that it was not a horrible piece of crap.
You know, I'm going to be real with you. Mm-hmm. This, I wasn't, you know, the trailers for it, fine. It's Steven Spielberg directing an action adventure. I'm there. Whatever, it's fine. The trailers, I don't know. I mean, I wasn't really blown away. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll like it. I don't know. I was, what an utter delight this movie was.
Utter delight. I'm having like cognitive dissonance here.
I know. I severely underestimated the power of Spielberg behind the camera. And I know maybe it was the post. I don't know what it was. There's something along the way I doubted him. I'm like, I don't know about this. Maybe it was the material, because I know I haven't read the book. The book, by the way, which is, I've heard, very different from the movie. And many people actually agree that the movie's an improvement on the book, because the book does shit right. I went with a couple of friends who actually read the book, and they said that, yeah, they do this in the book, and they do this in the book, and they're like rattling off things where I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that, creatively speaking. But this book, I just wasn't crazy about the material. It's like, okay, it's like you said, it's like, it's going to be a reference thing. And I'm like, fine, we never really had well, not never really had. We've had movies like this, but they're not a dime a dozen. You have like Roger Rabbit, Looney Tunes, like Back in Action or whatever the hell, or like, there's not a whole lot of these. But I gotta be honest with you, it's about 20 minutes in where I was sold. Like the first 10-15 minutes when they're selling you on this movie or on this world, I was like, all right, this is pretty good. I'm impressed, because it's about the guy who created this. So it follows the story of a kid his name is Wade Watts, and he plays this thing called the Oasis, which is basically like a VR kind of a virtual reality world.
The kid plays in a VR world. The future is shitty. Everyone lives in stacked trailers.
They don't want to be in the real world, which is whatever. But the guy who created this place, his name is, James Halliday. So he dies. And he basically says, I don't like how corporate games are getting in shit, so fuck it. I'm leaving my entire fortune to whoever can solve these or find the 3 keys in this oasis. So it's basically a giant Easter egg hunt. And it just didn't dawn on me until like 20 minutes in. I'm like, this is a fucking treasure hunt movie. And it's directed by fucking Steven Spielberg, the guy who gave us Raiders of the Lost Ark. And it was at that point I'm like, I liked this movie a lot. And God, it's really solid. I don't know what else to say. I was just really delighted by it.
Again, I'm just really surprised to hear this, because I don't give a shit if it's Spielberg or if it like Hitchcock was brought back from the dead to direct this. It just looked to me like the whole thing was just, let's reference things. And it had no originality, and the original parts looked completely unappealing to me. So
yeah, I mean, again, you might not like it. I just did, is all. And I get that. I'm just shocked that you liked this. Oh no, I mean, again, I'm pretty agreeable. Like, you have to do some pretty bad shit in order for me to hate your movie. Okay, fair enough. Like Pacific Rim. Like, you have to turn one of the best parts of your movie prior into one of the worst parts of your movie. Not spoiling Pacific Rim in this review, but you know what I'm talked about in that movie. Right. So you have to do some pretty bad shit in order for me to hate it. And this movie, like, it played it, even with the references, they played them surprisingly close to the vest for what I was expecting. And that being...
What about that line in the trailer? I'm just practicing my Mario Kart!
Well, that's the thing, though.
That was so cringy.
That's just a line.
But it's just like...
It's like that...
All right. Oh, no, that's right. Like, my rule, you get 4 more terrible ones.
Right. It's like, I'm like, all right. You know, there's much more in this where I'm like, wow, they nailed this. Like, there's a whole... This movie's basically... Like, the evil corporation in this movie, which is... it's called IOI, which stands for Innovative Online Industries. They're basically like, insert any evil gaming corporation that exists today.
I heard it's basically just supposed to be EA.
It's like completely EA. And it's like, I'm like, you know how like game, or like, you know, they'll talk about like microtransactions nowadays, and like...
Oh, there's that bullshit where it's like you have to buy
yeah
downloadable content and stuff to beat certain levels.
Right.
What is the term for that?
Like downloadable content, or like microtransactions or whatever, stuff like that.
There was like another word I kept hearing for that.
I don't know. It's bad business is what it is.
No, I get, yeah, because I was hearing that for like the latest Star Wars Battlefront. Mm-hmm. Like, you buy the game, but you have to buy other stuff.
Oh, like loot boxes, or like
that's
like the gambling aspect and all that mess.
I just hear that it's like ridiculous. You have to spend more money just to beat the game, essentially.
Yeah. So like, there's literally like lines in this where like Ben Mendelsohn is talking about like, okay, how can we fill the visor of these kids playing this Oasis thing, or like, what's the limit of ad space we can put in this without kids going into seizures? It's like, that's literally one of the lines, which is like, wow, what a dick. This guy's just like all about money and shit, and it's just like,
All right.
it's just, I like that it it wasn't doing it to be trendy. It wasn't like, oh, let's throw in microtransactions because that's relevant. It's like, no, like that's what this corporation's about, is like they like start putting people in, they have like their own jail. Like if you're in debt to this company, they'll like put you in jail, like, and have you work for them, like basically do their bidding.
This sounds incredibly stupid.
But it's not in a way like, look at the way things are heading with like Google and like Facebook and like certain companies taking liberties like legally, where it's like, yeah, I guess like like we already have privatization of jail. It's
right,
like,
but that's not like the norm. It's not like Google can throw you in jail.
Right, but it's like this taking place in 2045. It's like 20 years from now or 30 years from now. It's like, I wouldn't necessarily, if someone told me like, Google has their own prison, I'd be like, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be completely like, no. Like,
oh, yeah, okay. I get what you're saying. It sounds like...
But that's just supplemental.
Yeah.
The main thing about this movie is it's the central treasure hunt that makes it the most enjoyable. There are references there, but I thought, for me, and that might be more grating to some people, I thought they supplemented the story, which was, for me, very enjoyable. I was invested in it, mainly because I was very invested in this character of Halliday, played by Mark Rylance, who's just like a goof. But like, he's very likable, and you get that he loves, escaping into things like games and movies, but that there's also like something lacking from him, that like even in death he's just kind of like, I don't want to get into spoilers, but like there are things missing from his life.
Go ahead and get into spoilers. I can promise you, there's a very small likelihood I'll see this.
Well, I mean, there's a part where you find out that he like uploaded his consciousness into this game and stuff, and it's like basically the end of the movie is like you figure out that like he...
didn't he do it in like a robot butler or some shit like that? Well,
because
I've read a little bit of spoilers.
Right. So he creates the Oasis game with another guy played by Simon Pegg. I can't think of his name.
Oh,
I think
that's right.
Morrow,
Simon,
I think is his name.
Yeah.
But Ogden Morrow is his name, but he's also in the game. It's another twist where he's like, oh, you figured it. It's like he's one of the people helping the whole time, helping Ty Sheridan's character and what's her name, Olivia Cook's character. But there's a lot of spoilers here.
How dare you, by the way?
What's that?
Like, what's her name? The better actor of the two of them.
Well, I was thinking, I don't know. I was thinking Sophie Cook, because it's weird. Her name in this movie is Samantha Cook.
Oh.
So I'm like, that's weird. Like, but it's different. It's not the British Cook. It's the Cook without the E.
Yeah, I was gonna say that again. Going back to my main gripe is, again, there are ways to do reference heavy movies like Roger Rabbit.
Right.
But you have to like Roger.
Right, right.
I know he wasn't an original character because the novel came first. Mm-hmm. But as far as the outside world was concerned, like, most people hadn't heard of that novel.
Right, right.
So he's for the most part, a new character.
Right.
And same with Jessica Rabbit, and those characters are both loved.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like whoever the hell Ty Sheridan's character, like, he seemed really plain and dorky and boring.
Yeah, I mean, he does a good job. I mean, he's not...
No, I'm sure he's not, like, awful. I'm just saying nothing... like, from the trailer, it just didn't look like he stands out.
Well, it's the same thing like Roger Rabbit. Like, Roger Rabbit's not the protagonist of that movie. It's Eddie.
Yeah, but even still, Bob... What the hell's his last name?
See, you can't even think of his name.
Hoskins.
There you go.
Eat shit. You can't remember.
No, he's fucking Mario, of course.
Exactly.
But I get what you're saying.
And Jet Li's handler in Unleashed. Yeah, don't tell me I don't know who he is.
No, but here's the thing. You got to have... The central character can be fine. Those supporting characters have to really pop. And I thought they did. I thought that Mark Rylance as James Halliday / another character in the movie. And then Simon Pegg, he's not in it much, but Ben Mendelsohn is fucking awesome. Like, he's just a complete piece of shit. Olivia Cook is great.
I would expect so.
Yeah, she's awesome, and there's just a lot of great supporting characters in this, and the world is cool. It's not. I never felt inundated by the references.
Really?
No,
I read about 2 pages of the book and I couldn't fucking stand it. It was about a page in. It's like I'm kind of paraphrasing here, but it's like, as I slipped on my Pac-Man slippers and went downstairs, I slid down a banister and then put on my Ghostbusters proto pack. And then ate some Mr. T cereal. And it's like, Jesus Christ, shut up.
Like, the book I've heard is surprisingly, like, not great.
I've heard the book is... I mean, I read, like, if the book is like what I read for the whole book, then it's like... I mean, it's complete shit.
Well, there's a lot different. There's like, massive sequences different in this. Because, like, in the middle of the book, I've heard that they go into the movie War Games, which is not a movie I would pick. Like, to be like, oh, there's gonna be this part in this story where we have to go into a movie. What's a good, like, Matthew Broderick movie? Just like, what?
The one with the monkeys.
Yeah.
what
Project X.
Yeah.
But it's like, why that? And they pick a different movie in this, and it's better because it's a better movie, and there's way more you can do with this. And also, Spielberg has a love... Well, we're already talking about spoilers. It's The Shining. Spielberg has a prior relationship with Kubrick, him with the whole AI thing. So it's like... And they recreate the... Like, there's shit in this where I'm like, that is that scene. Like, and I'm not even talking about, like, oh, that they just, recreated the scene. Like, it's like, that looks like the film stock from the movie The Shining. Like, it looks grainy and shit, but the characters are inserted in. They look, like, fine. Like, I was just impressed, like, technologically. I'm like, we're at this point where we can composite characters into shit, and it looks, like, fine. You know what I mean?
See, that's the thing, is the one thing I figured they'd obviously do right is, of all these things, and the only thing that looked really appealing to me were some of the action sequences.
And that is the big ones, yeah.
If you're gonna just be like, oh, look at this, look at that, remember this, remember that, did you grow up during this time? We did.
Yeah.
If you're gonna be that annoying, you might as well have some really badass action sequences.
Right. And are they. Like, the first one is that car race. And, like, it reminded me of a lot of what you said about, like, Thor Ragnarok. Like, it felt like at the end, it felt like with that race, like, it felt like Spielberg, like, you were sitting watching, like, young Spielberg playing, like, in the middle of his living room, like, dumping a whole bunch of toys on the floor and be like, and then King Kong comes in, and then T-Rex, and then the DeLorean, it's just like, and you're sitting there and you're like, okay. You're like, okay. And it's, fuck, man, it's so fun. And again, Spielberg's no stranger to animation. Like, we've talked about Tintin before. Yeah,
Tintin was amazing.
And I would say Tintin's still probably a better movie than this, but it's like...
I would certainly hope you'd say so.
Oh, that's a stellar film in general.
Yeah.
But this is, like, close in terms of... Well, it's... I don't know. I haven't seen Tintin in a while, but the animation is... it just looks great. In that final battle, things happen in it.
How long is it?
The battle or the movie?
The battle. I don't care about
the battle's
the
like
movie.
The battle feels like 20 minutes long. Like,
Okay.
it feels like 25 minutes long. It's pretty fucking cool.
All
Like,
right.
I was pretty fucking sold.
All right, so now I'm gonna be a huge hypocrite after I've been talking so much shit.
Well, no,
Now I'm gonna nerd out. Did Chucky get some good licks in?
Oh, the Chucky has one of the best moments in the movie.
Okay.
Do you want me to tell you what it is?
Yeah, I don't care.
Okay, so they use...
I do, but I don't care if you spoil it.
Someone uses Chucky as a weapon, and, like, he goes around just, like, smoking fools, like, stabbing people in the face and shit, and, like, someone,
but doesn't he do it, like, all, like, Dragon Ball Z style, like, spinning around and shit?
Yeah, like, flying around, like, and... They do like the classic, like, Spielberg, like, some dude, like, turns around and, like, looks in the camera, but he's got the visor on, like, and he's like, it's fucking Chucky.
Yeah.
And it's just,
see, but that's the part that makes it, like, less fun.
Oh
my God, we have to tell you what it is.
It's just, I don't know, you gotta be there. But, or maybe, I don't know, again, I could see people not liking this. Again, I compared this movie to, like, or, like, the references in this movie to, like, it's like, kind of like blue cheese. If you do just enough in the right dish, I'm fucking fine with it. Like, if you put a sprinkle of blue cheese in a salad, fuck yeah. But you don't put a fistful of blue cheese in an apple pie.
Okay.
Like, it just doesn't fucking happen. You got to be careful. Food references. The blue cheese in this movie was fine, but it's that fucking dressing and that lettuce and that fucking, cheese or whatever the fuck is in this salad. It's that other stuff that's like, I like this other stuff too, better even. The characters, the story, music was fucking cool. Oh my god, there's like, Alan Silvestri does the music for this.
Okay.
So there's like a shit ton of like, if you listen close, it's not in your face at all. There's like little Back to the Future cues from the score of Back to the Future.
Right.
And like, my girlfriend was like, she's the biggest Back to the Future fan. She's like, holy shit, that's the fucking cue where, what's the fucking, George McFly punches Biff or shit. And I'm like, I don't even fucking know that. Or if you're looking close in a certain scene where like characters in a garage, like in the background, you'll see like Walter White's RV from Breaking Bad. Like, these are very small things, but you don't necessarily need to know them to appreciate the movie. And even the big things, like so in the middle portion of the film, obviously they go inside the movie The Shining. I haven't seen The Shining.
I haven't seen it start to finish either.
Yeah.
I've seen bits and pieces of it on TV a bunch.
Right. I haven't seen it, but like Spielberg's enthusiasm for it was infectious enough. And of course, The Shining's like a part of pop culture. Like, fucking everybody knows everything about The Shining. It's a 40-year-old movie. So it's like, I enjoyed being there. And like, there's a scene at the end where they're talking about the Atari 2600 game Adventure, which was the first game ever to include an Easter egg. It was the first Easter egg ever in games. And like, I didn't fucking grow up with the Atari 2600, but there's something about the enthusiasm that the filmmakers had for these pop culture items that was infectious. It felt like it wasn't necessarily about the references themselves as it was about like how important media is to shaping people and like shaping society. And I thought that was neat. And I totally get when and if people are going to be turned off by that, if they thought it's too much. Again, it's a to each his own type deal, but I ended up surprisingly liking it a lot.
Okay. The whole idea that, yes, this pop culture shapes people and it's in our, it's in our minds, or sometimes we hold it close to our hearts or whatever. I don't need a movie to be a collection of things to remind me that. I feel like the movie should strive to be one of those.
Right.
For example, if you like Batman, the movie, it's like, man, I really love Batman. I don't need to be like, oh, I need Batman to have cameo Easter eggs in a bunch of other movies. It's just like, I can just like Batman for that. Mm-hmm. Because I feel like of all the things that people have been talking about, no one's talking about, oh, Wade's avatar looked really cool. I want to see more of Wade's avatar. Or like, oh, Olivia Cook's character was so awesome. Well, actually, that's not true. I've heard... Here's like the one other complaint I've been hearing a lot, is that Olivia Cook's character was a lot cooler and should have been featured more.
Yeah, I think definitely my biggest detractor is the romance, which, this being a big Hollywood movie, obviously they feel like they have to have one. I didn't. It's obviously between Olivia Cook's character and Ty Sheridan. I didn't think it needed one. I thought they worked better as friends. But again, the biggest things in this movie that work are the story, the treasure hunt aspect, the world and the tech, the action and the effects. And I thought that the references, while they're pretty integral to this movie's selling point, and it's definitely what they've been marketing the movie, it's what they've been leading with. I thought it was like the references were like the fifth or sixth thing I liked the most. I like the tech and I like the world and the story more, and the characters, and the performances. I like Ben Mendelsohn and Olivia Cook and all them. And yeah, all in all, I was as surprised as you are, if not more. I was not expecting for this to be that good. It's definitely better than The Post, which was Spielberg's last thing. But
all right,
yeah, I was surprised.
All right, in the spirit of hypocrisy, I'll now ask you, who really shined during the big battle? Besides Chucky, obviously.
Yeah, well...
Was Gundam's part cool?
Yeah.
Was Batman's part cool?
I didn't see Batman.
Oh, no Batman.
Oh, wait, no, there is a Batman, like...
But that's when you can go climbing.
Yeah, rock climb with Batman. Everest. Yeah.
Does Harley Quinn do anything?
She, like, shows up. I mean, like, they're in the background and stuff.
Oh, Well, fuck that.
Well, I mean, it's all about this story. It's like the references are there, and it's like you can look, but it's like
it's just like if you're gonna bring all these characters together.
Oh well,
I'm saying during the final battle.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, there's
if you're gonna bother to have all that shit in the final battle, why not?
There's a certain battle that does take place between the Iron Giant and Mechagodzilla.
Okay, so you got that, but what about Battletoads? Did they do anything?
You do see them storm into battle. There's Battletoads. There's what's her name from Overwatch. There's like 4 or 5 Master Chiefs.
Does Chun-Li do the spinning bird kick?
I think so. I honestly don't remember. There's so much going on, and it's more focused on the protagonists.
But the protagonists, like, seem lame. Fuck them.
Yeah, but it's like they're...
Does Ryu do a Hadouken?
There is a Hadouken. Someone else does a Hadouken. It's pretty fucking cool.
Who?
The main character.
Fuck him. He's lame.
But
I
it's
want
like...
him to do a Hadouken.
Yeah, but it's like... You know, if I could write Ryu into a movie and have him do a Hadouken to the main bad guy, it's like I'd do it in any other movie ever. You know, it's like at that point it'd be also as random.
No, I mean I'm just saying like it's just like frankly that's like my issue is like every time you're like no the main characters I'm like well fuck him I want the cool characters to do something.
Yeah.
If you're gonna bother to have them all there.
Well, Chucky definitely gets his moment to shine.
He gets his licks in.
I was pretty stunned. Like it's a pretty damn like definitively badass moment for Chucky.
Yeah, because I saw that in one of the trailers.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, you get Iron Giant versus Mechagodzilla. Gundam comes in, finishes it off a little bit.
Elaborate more on the Iron Giant Godzilla.
Which, I mean...
Is it a featured fight?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's happening above the battle. Like, it's like... God, what's the one with the... It reminds me of, like, the battle at the end of Return of the King with, like, the elephants. Like, the giant, like, mastodons, like, fighting and shit. Yeah. And it's like... There's, like, battles going on underneath. Right. It's just like... it was really good. That end battle is... If anything, watch, like, the race... the Shining bit and then the end battle, and it's like those you've got like the best parts of the movie down.
See, that's why I said they should have a action only ticket. Mm-hmm. Because I'd pay $3 to just watch like the big battle scenes in the race.
Right.
It's like, all right, with this ticket you get no storyline and none of the like bullshit that like you don't care about.
Right.
So yeah, so you'd end up giving it what?
I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10, which is a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, 4 out of 5, indeed.
4 out of 5. I guess I'll watch it on a rainy day.
I mean,
on FX.
I hope you like it. I'm not holding out my hope because again, there is a lot in there where I feel like it could be polarizing to some.
I'll say this. It might be better than what I think, but I would really be surprised if I end up seriously liking it past like saying it's watchable.
Right.
So that's it for Ready Player One. We've got some breaking news, and it's concerning Donnie Yen.
Yes, so it's very, very breaking news. Donnie Yen is going to be cast in Disney's live-action Mulan.
I cannot tell you how for this I am.
This might be the most excited I've been for a live-action Disney movie.
Yeah, I was going to say, I had about zero interest in any of the live actions, but if Donnie Yen's here and it's Mulan, there's sure to be some martial arts badassery.
Yes.
And I cannot tell you how for this I am.
Yes, and it's also seems as though Donnie Yen will be playing the role of Commander Tung, who is described as a mentor and teacher to Mulan in the film. He's that age, and he's that type of... I could see him playing that character.
All right, I'm down. All right, next up, we're going to do a quick overview of my experience at C2E2.
Which is the Chicago Comic Entertainment Expo, is that correct?
That's right, Robert. There was lots of comics and entertainment.
Nice.
At this expo in Chicago.
In 2018.
That's right. Did some cool stuff, went to some good panels, and saw some neat artwork and all that good stuff. It was just an excellent weekend to celebrate pop culture.
Fantastic.
some of the panels I went to, voiceover thing, where it had Fred Tatasciore
Nice.
and Phil Lamar and the legendary Tom Kenny.
Wow, those are 3 heavy hitters in voice acting, really.
In addition to that, there was Susan Eisenberg, who voices Wonder Woman.
Oh, nice, on Justice League?
Yeah, and I think there was a couple other people, but anyway, it was a big panel and it was neat to hear them talk about voice acting.
It sounds awesome.
Yeah, and I also went to one where there was a spotlight of just Phil Lamar.
Awesome.
He actually introed it by walking in behind the audience while doing the Samurai Jack voice.
Oh, man.
It was crazy. And I had no idea how funny that guy is.
Well, I mean, he Mad TV, man.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. And I also didn't realize he also studied improv in Chicago.
Wow.
At the I.O.
God.
Like
multi-talented.
That guy has a quick wit.
Oh, yeah.
And I also went to VRV's panel, or Verve.
Nice.
It's a new channel. It's a online streaming service. It's got a bunch of stuff.
They had Harmon Quest Season 2 on there, didn't they?
Yeah, they had Harmon Quest. They get a bunch of anime. They just got the rights to Stargate.
Oh, wow.
Apparently
Okay.
all the different versions.
Neat.
I went to the Mortal Kombat video game cast panel.
Nice.
So you got to hear from the people who did the photography.
For the original.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The video, I guess, performance work.
Capture.
Video capture for 1 and 2. So it's kind of cool to see them in person.
Nice.
Also went to Svengoolie.
Nice.
That was actually really neat. And I asked Svengoolie a question.
Was it Stoogepalooza related?
No, but about 90% of the questions were.
Are you shitting me? Were they?
Yeah, everyone was talking about Stooges.
So was it Svengoolie in character, or was it the guy? What's his name?
Rich Cause.
Rich Cause, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he dressed up, but
Okay.
it was just Rich.
Oh, okay.
And people kind of called him both.
Okay, nice.
And I had just asked him if he had a favorite early performance of someone famous who had to be in something crap.
Yeah, what'd he say?
He said apparently Clint Eastwood played like a mad scientist in some B movie.
Wow.
So, yeah. And it was funny. I introed the question by saying, for instance, Arnold Schwarzenegger was in Hercules in New York. And I said, well, calling that a movie is a bit of a stretch. And I heard like a collective like gasp from the audience.
Really?
Well, I kind of felt that. I thought I heard like something like, huh?
Hey, maybe there's some, Svengoolie audience, maybe they got some love for some bad shit.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what I figured. It was funny, too, because I was like, I'm a big fan. I remember the first time I saw your show was the 1990s Captain America, and I heard someone, like, in the front 2 rows, like, yeah, that's a good one. And I'm like, yeah, I like it not in the way that maybe you do, sir. I mean, I thought that in my head, but I didn't say that. I'm like, yeah, I like that one. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. And then here's my favorite part of the whole weekend, and I kid you not. There was a part where I was by myself.
Okay.
Walking around. And this guy comes up to me, and he's got this weird, like, mix of a Q and a man bun ponytail thing.
Okay.
He's wearing some weird clothes. I'm like, is this like an anime character I don't know of? Like, cosplay?
Okay.
And he goes, excuse me. I'm like, yeah? He's like, are you happy with your life? And I'm like, sure, why not? And then he's like, well, I just wanted to let you know I'm a monk, and I've got these books for you. He like hands me these books. You know those like Russian dolls where you stack them in each other?
Yeah.
There's like 3 books, or there's like 2 or 3 books of it. It's like one was like tiny, one was like bigger, and then one was the huge one, just like stacked on each other. He just like hands me. He's like, we're not selling them, but we are taking small donations.
Oh my God.
I just thought it was the weirdest place. This guy had to pay at least, whatever the day's ticket was, like $30-$40 to get in.
It's a lot of donations.
But no, yeah, exactly. It's like, yo, you trying to make a profit on these donations, man? You're going to have some work out of you. But it was like,
yeesh.
Of all the places to do this, I found that very odd. But I was like, nah, dude, I'm not interested. And he's like, all right, have a nice day.
Well, at least he let you go.
I just thought that was the weirdest thing. Of all the places to be stopped by a monk, like airport, I get it, or whatever. But like, what was his plan? All right. Now, I know there's lots of weird losers at this place.
Yeah, desperate, possibly.
Desperate weird losers. So now, I'm going to find a bunch in here. This
Jesus.
is like shooting fish in a barrel.
Jesus God, well...
I mean, he was a nice guy, though.
At least he let you pass.
A little bit bizarre. I just don't get why he thought that this would be successful.
Right. Well, did you end up
I
meeting...
should have been like, well, who's drawing this comic? And
Oh.
like flip through it like a real book. Fuck off, man.
did
I
you,
mean, there were some people selling books.
like written word books?
Written word books?
Yeah.
What
Well,
are those funny word books?
yeah, textbooks.
Yeah.
Did you end up meeting any other kooky characters along the way?
Oh, I did.
Did you?
Now, I met a very kooky character.
Oh, yeah?
So, there was a Trauma booth set up.
Oh, boy.
And I was looking through the DVDs. I'm like, oh, man, some of these movies, like, they're they're all funny and kind of terrible. That's, like, their point.
Right.
Trauma, as you know, as a company, they are the kings of the so bad it's good.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm looking through and I'm just shifting from left to right. I'm like, Toxic Avenger 1, Toxic Avenger 2, Class of Nukem High. That's actually Lloyd Kaufman just standing in the aisle. I'm like, wait a minute, Lloyd Kaufman. It was like right out of a movie. It's like when they're passing Kevin.
Yeah.
Give this to Kevin. I'm just like looking, and then I look even
Here you go,
further.
Kevin.
Yeah. And then he's right there.
Kevin's not here.
Yeah. Except it was like, Lloyd Kaufman is here. And then I was like, wow. I'm like, Mr. Kaufman?
Oh,
He's like,
man.
yeah. It's like, I'm a big fan. In perfect, like, Lloyd Kaufman-esque joking manner, he kind of ribs me as well. I was like, yeah, you love me? Well, buy a DVD. That's how you can show it. So I
Did you pitch him our Lloyd Kaufman, what was the movie we had from what movie is this?
Getting Back at the Opera?
Yeah, well, who was in that again? Was
It was Ronda Rousey and Samuel L.
Oh, yes. You didn't pitch him that, did you?
No, I didn't. I was way too nervous.
Okay.
Because, like, even though he's, like, a really chill guy, who signs stuff for free, by the way.
Well, I would imagine.
I mean, he's not, like,
He's not Stan Lee or,
he's
like...
not Stan Lee, but it's just bullshit. The one thing I never do at these conventions is do the signatures. Mm-hmm. I get that. I get the reason to charge for some people. I understand it's partly up to the company.
Right.
And it's partly because of crowd control and all that kind of stuff. But, like, it's just, that's something I've never bothered with. But Lloyd Kaufman was just there. And he was doing some little media interview right beforehand. There's just a short line of us, you know.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so he signed everything for free. He's a really nice guy. And I also went to the Crown Cosplay Championship.
Okay.
Unreal costumes. Like, these things people make. They're like, he has a computer-generated cooling system and, like...
Jesus.
Like, LED lights. This one dude had a giant dragon. And he had to have, like, 3 people help him get it on stage.
Jeez.
And it took so long to get him on and off when they did and let's get all of them out here. He just gave up and he's like, you know what, I'm just not going with the wings.
Jeez.
So it was just the torso and the head.
Who won?
The whole thing? Mm-hmm. It was some girl who was dressed in this Final Fantasy costume. It was good. It was like a crazy, like, poofy dress, but with like armor kind of stuff on it too, and like this weird like staff.
Was it determined by judges or was it voted?
Yeah, it was determined by judges.
Okay.
Because they had the winner of Chicago, which they announced right then and there, and then the winners of New York and Seattle. Mm-hmm. So from there, they chose the best of those 3, and then they went up against the world champions who were from like, there's a guy dressed like a Batman from Austria, Iron Man from Korea, some monster from some video game from, I believe, Singapore.
Okay.
And then there's one from Indonesia and India. And I think there's a couple other countries I can't remember, but I thought the Singapore guy, if I'm remembering, it was like, he kind of looked like Lord Zed from Power Rangers.
Okay.
But it was some monster from a video game, but this thing looked like Hollywood level.
Jesus.
Like, I thought this was by far the best, and I was kind of surprised he didn't win. But yeah, so that was really cool to go to, because I'd never been to that. Because it's usually a really long wait in line, but by the time, like, 6 o'clock rolled around, I was like, yeah, I already hit up the show floor and the panels, so I just went to that. And, just gotta show up early, and this time I was able to, so it was kind of cool to go for the first time.
That's cool. Were there any other panels that were going on that you wished you'd attended or that you missed? Or I guess even what was the most popular panel that you saw that people were waiting in line for and stuff?
There was one I wanted to go to, but it was such a time commitment. It was a 2-hour panel.
Oh, wow.
It was called Twisted Tunes, and it had like a bunch of huge names. Mm-hmm. I think it had like Tara Strong and like Rob Paulson.
Wow.
So and Phil Lamar, obviously.
Right.
So it's this thing they've done it at a number of comic conventions. It's this thing where they just read a script of a movie, but they use all their voices.
Right. I've seen the Bob's Burgers cast do that before.
I just didn't think it'd be worth it because like it'd be funny if they did it for more than one movie, but they're just doing it for one movie. Mm-hmm. I feel like after a while the novelty would wear off.
Oh, so they were doing like a live reading of one entire feature script?
That's what it sounded like, at least.
Well, did you get any beat on what the script was?
It was Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh. I thought it would have been funnier if it was like The Room or like something like, you know.
Well, they did it with like Star Wars once, where it's
Okay.
like Tara Strong was reading Darth Vader as Bubbles.
Oh, right.
And stuff like, and like C-3PO was like Winnie the Pooh.
They did that, and the only one I've seen of that is on Bob's Burgers with that cast where they did like select scenes, and like they did a couple scenes from like There Will Be Blood, and it was freaking ridiculous.
See, that's what I thought would have been a better idea is why not have that same concept but do like 10 different scenes.
Right.
Yeah, because I don't see how doing the whole, like after a while it would just become old if it was just the one movie.
Right. So,
overall, it was a rip-roaring good time.
Yeah, it sounds like a good time. I got to make sure to go next year.
Yeah, I would recommend it to anyone who's into stuff. All right, now that I've bored you to death with telling you about nerdy stuff, we're going to play some games. We got a new one for you. It's called Guess How Many, where you have to guess how many installments there are in a given franchise. All right, Robert, are you ready to play?
I sure am.
All right, would you like to guess first?
Go ahead, shoot.
Guess how many movies there are in the Sandlot series.
3?
That is correct.
I did know that there was a Sandlot 2, and then a Sandlot, what's called like Going Home or something?
Okay, apparently the third one is about like an arrogant baseball player gets hit by a wild pitch, and he's sent back in time to when he's a kid.
Yeah, I remember this. What's it called?
It doesn't matter. It's terrible.
Yeah, this one...
It just sounded stupid.
That I
it's like,
unfortunately know.
he learns friendship and love and whatever bullshit by...
Man.
Yeah, man. Like, he just learns stuff about, like, not being a huge douche, and then he gets back to present time and, like, Back to the Future style. It's like, and he kept friends with all of those buddies from the Sandlot.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's one that's, like, baffling they made more than one.
Yeah.
Like, completely baffling.
Only reason I know it is because Sandlot was definitely one of those movies I would just pop in as white noise to fall asleep to just because it was like, so relaxing.
Christ, let's move on.
Sandlot's a good movie. We get
All right,
it.
yes, shut up. All right, what we got?
Brave Little Toaster.
Ooh, okay. Is it 3?
It is 3.
Yes.
There was Brave Little Toaster in 1987. Then there was The Brave Little Toaster Goes to Mars.
Yeah.
In 1998. And then The Brave Little Toaster to the Rescue in 19... whatever, who cares. There was 3. You were correct.
Yeah, that's a solid movie, by the way.
Oh, the first one is definitely.
Yeah,
I haven't seen the others.
I haven't seen the others. All right. Next up, how many Police Story movies are there?
Oh, man. 9?
Wrong. There are 6.
Oh, okay.
Now, you still have a chance at the bonus point. Can you explain the breakdown of why there's 6?
Oh, no. God, no.
Okay, so there's 4 original ones. Mm-hmm. There is 1, 2, Super Cop, which they just marketed as Super Cop here. Mm-hmm. And then there was 4, which is called Jackie Chan's First Strike, which is weird because I've seen both of those movies and just had absolutely no clue that they were part of the Police Story series.
Okay.
And the first one has like a way more serious tone, at least from what I remember.
Okay. Weird.
But Hong Kong movies were a little notorious for that, and they've tried to reboot it twice since. And I heard both reboots. Well, I watched one of the reboots and turned it off because it was so boring.
Wow.
But they all star Jackie Chan, and the first 4 are good damn movies.
Nice.
So you didn't get that point. I'm sorry. All right, next.
All right. Home Alone.
I have this one on my list, so there's 5.
God damn it. All right, next.
Do I still get the point? Because you asked first.
Yeah, but you knew the fucking answer.
So what?
You did the research. Okay, here we go.
All right.
We'll cut that out, I guess.
Like hell, we're cutting it out. It stays.
People need to know.
Yeah.
Lake Placid. So this is For the Point, which I'm assuming based on your face, this was not a franchise you picked.
No, I
Okay.
know that there's multiple. Oh, God, this probably's got like a bunch because like sci-fi. I'm going to guess 4.
There are 6.
No.
So there's
Damn it.
Lake Placid, of course, from 1999. Lake Placid 2 from 2007. Lake Placid 3, 2010. Lake Placid, the final chapter in 2012. Then we got we got a crossover extravaganza film.
Oh, man.
Lake Placid versus Anaconda in 2015.
Wow.
And then coming to a sci-fi TV channel, who cares, near you, Lake Placid Legacy this year.
Okay, so technically there's 5.
Technically 5. The 6th is coming out this year.
All right. Wow.
Both of which are not 4, though.
I love when they do that. They're like, the final chapter. It's like, we're taking a bold step here and saying this is the last one.
Yeah, here
Like,
comes 2 more.
Oh, no, just kidding.
Yeah.
I mean, but real franchises don't do that.
Right.
Oh, wait.
Oh, God.
Toy Story.
Yeah, so sad.
Yeah, but anyway.
All
Yeah,
right.
All right. So, I get 1 point for Home Alone. That's your fault
Yes.
for asking first.
Right.
Okay. But I did not get Lake Placid. All right, here we go. How many Puppet Master movies are
Oh,
there?
my God. Jesus, no. 5?
Oh, you're way off. There's 12, and there's 1 currently in production.
Dear God, why?
Because there's like, you forget they had like crossover extravaganzas too.
Oh, that's
Because
right.
they had Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys,
Oh, man.
and it had like Vanessa Angel or whatever her name is.
Okay.
The woman from Kingpin
Oh,
was in
Jesus.
it, I think.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but they keep making those. Charles Band, dude, guy knows how to make money.
Yeesh.
All right,
All right.
your turn.
Death Wish.
Including the reboot. So for bonus points, there's 5, including the reboot.
There are 6.
Oh, damn it!
So there were 5 original Death Wishes.
Really? I
And
thought there was
then
only 4.
There was Death Wish 2, Death Wish 3, Death Wish 4, The Crackdown, Death Wish 5, The Face of Death, and then Eli Roth's piece of crap Death Wish.
Wait, was the 5th one with Charles Bronson?
Yeah.
Really? Okay, I thought there was only
was-
4.
I think it was his final film.
Was that made by Canon though?
No, it wasn't. It was produced by 20th Century Film Corporation.
Okay, so that whatever. All right, moving on. How many Police Academy movies are there?
7?
That's exactly correct.
I don't know any
Well
of them.
done.
Okay, I know there's about 7.
There's
Yeah.
a bunch of them, and then the last one was like Mission to Moscow
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something. It was in like 94. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
God.
apparently those were liked at some point.
Jesus.
All right, your go.
How many Once Upon a Time in China films are there?
Oh, okay. Okay, I know that there's 3 original, but let me finish my answer.
Yes.
Shit. Okay, so I'm gonna say no. Fuck it. I'm sticking with 3. This might be a trick question.
There are 6 Once Upon a Time in China
Bullshit.
movies.
There are not.
There's Once Upon a Time in China from 1991, Once Upon a Time in China 2 from 92, Once Upon a Time in China 3 in 93. Then they released Once Upon a Time in China 4 also in 1993, the same year.
I've never heard this.
Then there's Once Upon a Time in China 5 in 1994.
Wait a minute. Is this one of those bullshit things that Hong Kong movies do where it's like not related, but it just has Jet Li in it?
They are and you have 6, which is titled Once Upon a Time in China and America. That's what it's called. It's also known as Once Upon a Time in China 6.
Get the fuck out of my face. I had no idea that there was 6.
Yeah.
God damn it. I thought there was only 3. I mean, the first 2 are the only good ones.
Yeah.
But 1 and 2 are like 2 of the best kung fu movies ever made.
Huh. Interestingly, the first 5 are all written and directed by the same guy.
Sweetheart,
Yep.
that guy's a genius.
Yeah, and the last one was directed by Lau Kar-wing and Sammo Hung.
Oh, Sammo Hung. That's what's up.
That was his last one.
All right. Well, I'll have to check these out then because I had no idea that those existed. How many Pink Panther movies are there?
This is obviously including the Steve Martin ones and the what the fuck is that?
Well, you gotta get
Roberto Benigni one. So I'm gonna say okay. So there's two 2 Steve Martin ones. There's at least 4 Peter Sellers. I'm going to say 6.
Wrong. There's 11.
11?
11 of them.
Holy shit. Dear God.
And then 2 of those are Steve Martin.
Wow. I know there was the Roberto Benigni one, so that must have meant that there was at least, what was that, 8 or 9 Peter Sellers ones?
8 or 9 of those, and then one was like his son.
Yeah,
played by Roberto Benigni.
That was the shitty one.
Yeah.
Well, there are a few shitty ones. This one's a little cruel. Godzilla.
That is such bullshit. There's no one who knows the fucking answer to this.
Pick a number.
Oh my god. Well, there's no way I'm gonna get the extra point, because that's like impossible to know all the breakdowns. 27.
There are 36.
God damn it. I thought I should have done more.
So I'm not going to go through all of them, but there are 31 made by Toho Productions.
Yeah, so that's like the main canon, if you will.
Yes. Then there are 3 that were American adaptations of Toho Productions. They do count as different films.
Do they? That's such horseshit.
They had
No way.
The original Godzilla King of the Monsters is a different movie. It has Raymond Burr in it.
Yeah, I've seen both of those. I've rented the DVD once, and I watched both of them back to back, and it's totally the same movie. No, literally, it's like 5 or 6 insert shot scenes.
Then there was the Roland Emmerich Godzilla, and then there was the Gareth Edwards one.
I guess it doesn't matter that you consider those differently, and I don't.
Well, either way, it's more than 27.
Yeah, this question
it's
was
33 then instead of 27.
This question was fucking impossible. For my final, actually, I've got 2 left. How many Leprechaun movies are there?
6.
Wrong. There's 7 with 1 in production. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4 is where they're in space. Mm-hmm. Leprechaun the Hood, Leprechaun Back to the Hood, the crappy origin story.
Yes.
With what's his name, Hornswoggle.
Yeah.
So
of WWE fame.
Yeah, and now they're in production with another.
Oh man.
Yeah.
What a delight.
Yeah, isn't that just great?
All right.
That's something that's like, can you even be mad at them making more of those?
No. All right. I got a franchise for you. The Omen.
The Omen. There's 5, including a remake.
You're absolutely correct.
Boom! I got bonus points.
There you go.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
The Omen, Damien, Omen 2, Omen 3, The Final Conflict, Omen 4, The Awakening, and 2006's remake, The Omen.
How many Toxic Avengers are there?
4?
That's correct. You son of a bitch.
Again, complete fucking guess.
Yeah, no, I
didn't know that.
I
knew there was at least 2.
Well, yeah, there's 1, 2, 3, and then 4, I think is called Citizen Toxie.
Okay.
And then 5, they've been trying to make for a while, but they haven't gotten around to it.
Right.
Because I know that their most recent release is Return to Nukem High Volume 2.
Okay.
What do you got?
Angels in the Outfield.
Okay, so there's Angels in the Outfield, Angels in the End Zone. Oh, son of a bitch. There's probably Angels in the Stable, and it's about polo or some shit. Some shit like that. I'm gonna guess 4.
There are 3.
Damn it!
You got Angels in the End Zone right, but you missed Angels in the Infield, which was another direct-to-video sequel.
Angels in the End Zone was actually a TV one.
Well, yeah, it was a Disney Channel original.
Yeah, Disney Channel with the guy from Seventh Heaven.
Yeah.
And then he hugs the goalpost, and it's like he thinks it's his dad, but everyone's like, "What a fucking weirdo! He's crazy. He's hugging goalposts."
It still had Christopher Lloyd though.
Okay. Wow, did it really?
It did.
Wait, the third one?
The second one did.
Yeah, no, I remember that.
Yeah.
That's when that was back when they made those. Mm-hmm. They actually tried.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I got one for you. It's a little bit obscure.
Okay.
How many Meatballs movies are there?
2?
4.
4? Jesus Christ! I know there's 2. I know there's a Meatballs 2. That's
okay, there's 2, and then there's 3, and then the 4th one didn't have Bill Murray, or I think it was Ivan Reitman.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was one of those ones that doesn't count, but it is a sequel.
Okay.
All right, what do you got left?
Universal Soldier.
This is impossible. I'm going to guess 5.
There are 6.
Damn it, I was off by 1.
So there are 4 theatrically released movies and 2 TV movies.
Okay.
Universal Soldier, Universal Soldier The Return, Universal Soldier Regeneration, Universal Soldier Day of Reckoning, and then the 2 TV films, Universal Soldier 2 Brothers in Arms and Universal Soldier 3 Unfinished Business.
How many Exorcist movies are there?
Ooh, man. 6?
There are 5.
Damn.
And one, I think with the last 2, it was, you know, the whole story about how they basically reshot the entire movie.
Which one?
It was like 4.
Okay.
And then they fired the director and hired someone else.
I think so. I know. Which one was the one directed by the guy who wrote the book?
Fuck.
I think it was 3, right? Or no?
I don't know. It's like, it's a really long and complicated. Yeah, it's a boring story. So fuck it.
Well, shit. My last franchise is Neverending Story. How many movies?
I've never seen any of those. So
Really?
I have no idea. I'm gonna guess 3.
You're right.
Oh, there we go.
There's Neverending Story, Neverending Story 2, The Next Chapter, and finally, Neverending Story 3.
All right, perfect.
One of those sequels had Jack Black in it.
Really?
The third one had Jack Black in it.
Wow. All right, so that, yeah. Are we going to tally up the winners?
Do we have to?
I suppose not. Okay, fuck it. I'm too lazy to count. You're too lazy to count. So we're all winners. Yay!
Alright, so this next game is called Guess the Movie Based on the Obscure Quote. We all remember Rosebud and Luke, I Am Your Father, though that's actually not the actual quote, and Why So Serious, but what about those, those unsung quotes of those great movies? How about those? Let's talk about them. Alex, go ahead.
All right, your first quote is, "Keep practicing, Joey, and someday you will choke that chicken."
Oh, man.
Clock is ticking.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure?
Wrong. It's Beverly Hills Ninja. Because it's a dirty joke because he's literally trying to teach Joey, the hotel worker, played by Chris Rock.
Yeah, that's right.
Ninja training. Chris Farley is teaching him ninja stuff.
Nice.
So you don't get a point.
I do not.
All right, what you got?
I've seen things you've only seen in your nightmares. Things you can't even imagine. Things you can't even see. There are things that hunt you in the night, then something screams, then you hear them eating, and you hope to God you're not dessert. Afraid? You don't even know what afraid is.
Oh my God, I know this line. I'm having trouble placing the movie.
It's a substantial line, too, a long one.
Is it Alien?
No, Jumanji.
That's
a scene where, Robin Williams gets all serious and he starts telling the kids the shit he's seen in the board game, and I'm like, whoa, man.
Okay.
This isn't just a family movie.
That was a good one, because I haven't seen that in a while.
It's so fucking good.
All right, I've got one for you. Father, please!
What? Oh, fuck.
Notice closely the inflection.
Yeah.
That's your clue.
Is it Return of the Jedi?
That's correct.
Okay, I was going to say,
Well done.
Sounds like...
Because it's when he's getting... Because I didn't want to say, while getting electrocuted.
Father!
Father, please! I always thought that was so weird. It's like,
he's got some weird delivery,
it's like,
I was going to go to the Tashi station and get some power converters.
No, but that makes sense, because he's like, I'm whiny.
But it's so... It's got some cheese on it. I like it, but it's
he's
God, it's so weird.
He's like, wow, you're way too committed to this weird, this fake sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
But the father, please, it's just like the way he says it. Father, please.
Ben,
Ben, man, you got the codeine, Ben. Ben, you got the needle and the spoon, Ben.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Luke is a junkie, apparently.
There you go.
All right, moving on.
What's really a Tashi station? Anyway, 40 years. 40 years I've been asking permission to piss. Can't squeeze a drop without say-so.
Is this Shawshank Redemption?
It sure is.
Okay, thought so.
That's after Red is out of prison and he's asking the manager at the grocery store to pee. And he's like, You don't have to ask me every time you gotta go piss.
Yeah.
He's got that weird lisp.
I knew it because 40 years. If
I hadn't done the voice.
40 years.
40 years.
Yeah.
40 years.
That would have made it too obvious. Your next line. No pink eye for me. I'm just really high. I'll give you a clue. He's answering someone who's asking him.
Okay. Grandma's boy?
No, it's from Knocked Up. Remember that?
Oh, shit.
Cause this is like I reference this all the time. Oh, I farted on his pillow.
Oh, that's
he gave
right.
me pink eye.
Yeah,
and then he's
yeah.
like, so what about you? You got pink eye too. You got it bad. He's like,
Oh, man.
all right.
It ain't the way I wanted it. I can handle things. I'm smart. Not like everybody says. Like, dumb. I'm smart and I want respect.
Oh, fuck. I know this movie. Is it Back to the Future?
No, it's The Godfather Part 2.
Oh, fuck.
Right before, spoilers, when Al Pacino kills Fredo.
Oh.
And he's like all pissed off because he's like, I'm the older brother. You're the younger one. You're more successful than me. I'm smart.
Okay. Your next quote is, hey, Greg, why don't you go piss your pants again?
Oh, God.
So obvious.
Is it Billy Madison?
No.
What is
This
it?
Not, or it's super bad.
Oh, God.
We're down to... Come on, guys. We're down 2 points. Will you relax, Greg? It's soccer. Hey, Greg, why don't you go piss your pants again? That was 8 years ago, asshole.
Dave Franco.
Yeah.
God damn it, yeah.
That was one of my favorite parts of the movie. Okay.
This one will be a little easier.
What do you got?
It's a quick one. One little heavy on the pine tree perfume there, kid.
Is this Dumb and Dumber?
No, it's Tommy Boy.
Damn it.
Remember when he puts the car fresheners over his neck and what do you call it? The elevator with Dan Aykroyd?
Oh.
Dan Aykroyd says that? Oh, man.
That's a good one. All
Yeah,
right.
It's a quick one.
Two can play at that game. Actually, this one's pretty easy. Let's just say God works too slow.
Ooh, oh, gosh. Sounds like a revenge movie.
Clock is ticking. I'm going to need an answer.
Die Hard?
Wrong. X-Men.
Oh, right. Yeah.
See, again, that was another exchange, because Senator Kelly asks, what are you going to do to me? And then, as badass as possible, Ian McKellen just bringing his A game. Let's just say God works too slow.
Reminds me of another great line from another comic book movie, The Punisher, when he's all washed up on the beach and that beach guy's like, Vaya con Dios, go with God. And Frank Castle's like, God's going to sit this one out.
Yeah,
God
I love
damn
that
it.
line. All right.
All right, here
What
you go.
got?
Would you rather get 1 shot in the head or 5 in the chest and then bleed to death? It's kind of a weird quote from another movie, but it's a good quote. It's also kind of a shitty thing, so I'm kind of razzing you a little bit. It's not from what you'd expect.
Shit, I don't know. Reservoir Dogs.
No, it's a real deep cut from Moneyball.
Well, again, I would have never fucking guessed that.
Okay.
All right.
Some of these last ones for me will be a
Yeah.
little bit easier, I promise.
All right, I got one. Don't bother me. I'm thinking.
Oh, of course, it's Christmas Story.
God damn it. I thought that one, like...
Don't bother me. And the Wicked Witch
Yeah.
comes out.
Yeah.
Little boy, you taking a piss?
Yeah, you taking the piss, like, fuck off. That's what I should have said.
Little Ralphie Parker.
They done it in Manchester.
Here you go.
What you got?
Well, you took my advice about theatricality a bit literally.
Batman Forever?
Oh!
God damn it, I was close.
Batman Begins.
God damn it.
It's the scene where Ra's al Ghul sees Bruce Wayne in costume as Batman for the first time after releasing all the gas in the Narrows.
Oh, no, I was confusing that with... Your entrance was good. His was better.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
I was mixing them up. All right. Here we go. Hey, Lonnie, get your ass away from there.
Lonnie.
No, that won't help. Trust me.
Fuck.
There's like,
Child's Play 2?
you know, that was a good guess. You were right on the button with horror, but it's
Really?
actually from Halloween.
Okay.
It's the part where the kids are like, I dare you to go up to the Myers house. And then Dr. Loomis is creeping in the bush. He's like, fuck, I need to get these kids away. So he like, in like not his voice, he's like, hey, Lonnie, get your ass away from there. Like he says it in a weird voice to scare him off.
He Ben Kenobi's the Tusken Raiders away, if you will, in that weird goofy voice.
Yeah.
That shit?
Yeah, basically.
God.
What you got?
You want to talk to God? Let's go see him together. I've got nothing better to do.
Ah, god damn it. See, I know this movie. True Romance?
It's Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Ah, fuck.
At the end, I'm pretty sure he's talking to Belloc.
Okay.
And he's all tied up and shit.
Alright, okay. Well, here we go. Get a goddamn job, Al.
Oh, fuck.
I know this one's kind of unfair because it's very few words.
Get a goddamn job, Al.
Al's the key here.
Yeah. I was gonna say Married with Children, but that's a TV show.
TV show, and also wrong.
I'm gonna guess Wayne's World because I like not Al Pacino. What the fuck am I talking about? I like Ed O'Neill in that. Is the Stan Nikita's Donuts guy?
Wrong. The answer is American Psycho when he's talking to the homeless guy. What's your name?
Oh fuck, that's
Al?
right.
Get a goddamn job, Al.
Oh my god.
He gives him that. He feeds him that shit. It's like this. Your negative attitude is why you're not like getting anywhere.
Ah, damn it.
Yeah. All right. What do you got?
If you were in your office right now, we'd be having this conversation face to face.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Born Ultimatum.
Oh shit, that's right.
Remember, he's in the office and he's talking on the dude's cell phone. Or he's talking on the cell phone, and like they're in the other place. Classic Jason Bourne switcheroo.
Okay. All right. I think I'm gonna get you on this one.
Oh boy.
Gee, I wish my daddy owned a bank. Then I could be a rich little creep, too.
Is it Billy Madison?
Wrong.
Shit.
You were kind of close with the 90s comedies.
Okay.
It's The Mask.
Oh,
Remember
fuck.
Stanley Ipkiss?
Stanley Ipkiss.
Played by Jim Carrey.
Yeah. Damn.
His friend, you know?
Yeah.
They're just chilling, and then the boss's son like gives him a bunch of shit for being late.
Mm-hmm. Damn.
Yeah. What you got?
Right. You have a kind of sick desperation in your laugh.
Tommy Boy?
Fight Club. That's the
Okay.
part where, what's his name? Where Brad Pitt and Edward Norton meet for the first time, but do they really meet for the first time, if you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. All right, I got you on this one. Die, replacement friend!
God damn it. Son of a bitch. Die replacement friend. Fuck. I don't know. I don't know. I give.
Okay, it's Saving Silverman.
Oh,
When Jack Black and Steve Zahn are like,
right.
where's Darren? And that's like, there's all these like yuppies because of Amanda Pete, Judith.
Yeah.
Judith's friends all suck. And then, so they like attack them by like throwing pie. They start a fight by like shoving pies in their face. And Jack Black says, "Die, replacement friend." That's a timeless classic.
Yes. Good showcase of Arby's food in that movie.
Yeah, really. All right.
I have one more.
Okay.
This one's a personal favorite of mine.
What we got?
Are you effing stupid? Now, to be clear, it's not "Are you fucking stupid?" and I'm censoring myself. The line is actually, "Are you effing stupid?"
I don't know.
It's Man of Steel. Remember at the end where General Swanwick is like,
General Swanwick?
Yeah, the guy from the Matrix, the black guy. What's his name? Remember when Superman throws the satellite down? Or he throws the drone? And
Yeah.
It's the scene at the end where he's like, "I don't know, General. I guess you just have to trust me." But he throws the drone into the ground, and and General Swanwick says, like a 4-star general says, "Are you effing stupid?" And I'm like, all right, this is where I'm going to give when critics saying this is a poorly written movie. Because, like, the fuck? Like, say the F word, god damn it.
Especially PG-13s are allowed up to 2.
Yeah, they don't even say it in there.
Finding Forrester had 2. Was
Yeah.
rated PG-13.
You're the man now, dog.
No, he's like, why don't you write a 5,000-word essay why you should stay the fuck out of my home? And then later, the student who he, like, takes under his wing says, "Man, fuck you, William. There's 2. There's 2. It's a PG-13 with 2.
Here you go. You think you got one more, right?
No.
No?
That's all of them.
That's all she wrote? All right.
That's all I wrote.
Okay, well, let's score it.
I don't feel like it.
You know what? Me neither.
Yeah.
We both win.
Yay! We both win again. All right, and as promised, on the last episode, it's time for a segment called Public Shaming, where we give each other shit for movies we haven't seen. So let's get started. Robert, you haven't seen Rambo 1 through 3. How is this possible?
Well, it's the same reason all of these are possible on this list. I was a sheltered child. I grew up with I didn't even grow up. I didn't even see Batman until I was like 13. Like,
Okay.
I grew up with the original Joel Schumacher ones and the animated series.
But I mean, like Rambo, like that. Those are quintessential action films.
I know. I'm working my way through it. It's
like-
definitely not. It's definitely not one I want to miss. It's just, God, I got to get through all the others, all the other movies I've missed.
I'm gonna have to add that to a movie trade.
Yeah, we'll have to have a trade coming up here.
Yeah.
A movie I'm going to have to add on that is another seminal classic film, A Few Good Men. Now, this one is...
I'll explain.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I've wanted to see this for a while, but I already know all the big moments.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, like the biggest one, because it's just been said over and over again. Mm-hmm. And what always ends up happening with those movies is not like, oh, I don't want to see it. It just, in the back of my mind, it becomes less important for me to see since I know what's going to happen.
Right. The only thing I will say is I felt the same way. Like, I actually watched that movie very late. Like, I think I was, like, probably 18 or 19 when I saw it, and I, of course, knew the big moment. But I was pretty fucking blown away by it. I mean, it's Aaron Sorkin. It's about the dialogue where you're like, man, these guys are smart.
Okay.
In a Sorkin-y way, but I would check it out.
All right. And so you haven't seen Taxi Driver, which blows my mind that you went to film school. Of all the, like, hundreds of times that movie's mentioned while at film school, how have you never seen Taxi Driver?
Scorsese is a surprising blind spot for me. There are a couple movies in his filmography that I'm missing, including Taxi Driver, which is just makes me sad. I want to see it really bad. I know a lot about what it's about. I know you talking to me. I mean, all the great moments are there.
Okay,
but
so that
might
see
be
it. Trust me, it's pretty something else.
Yeah.
And you know what I think is like the biggest load of bullshit of all the movies you haven't seen on here? You haven't seen Exorcist. That to me is just surprising because you're a big movie fan.
Yeah.
You haven't seen Apocalypse Now. That's the same thing.
Yeah, that's another one.
But the one that I find most shocking and most disgusting, how have you never seen Ninja Turtles 2?
That was... I grew up in an era where I grew up like maybe 2 years after like peak Ninja Turtles age. Like 1993 is when I grew up. So like I grew up where the movies were kind of old, and their TV show wasn't really like, I was more of a Batman kid,
Okay.
But I think I just was kind of born in the wrong time.
Are you implying that the Ninja Turtles movies aren't timeless classics?
Now, hold on. I didn't say that. I still have to see them.
That's what it sounded like you were saying. It sounded like you were saying, oh, it wasn't my era, man. It's a relic of the past that should be shunned and forgotten.
No, I think...
And buried.
Yes, it should be buried.
That's what you said.
It should be buried like E.T., E.T. for the Atari 2600.
Yeah.
But,
that's right.
No, I think it was just... I don't know if my parents were... Because, like, my parents know what Batman is, but I don't know if they were big, like, fans of just, like, comics. They were kind of just like, oh, look, Batman. We grew up with that as a kid. The Adam West, Burt Ward show. Here, Cartoon Network. Bruce Timm show. Put this on. But Ninja Turtles, I don't know if they were very familiar.
But that means if someone were to just, like, walk up to you at random, not that this would happen, they start playing, go Ninja, go. And then they start dancing and being weird, you would be very confused.
I would be, but
So what I would suggest to you is never under any circumstances should you wear Ninja Turtles 2 t-shirt on the street.
That I will not do.
Because people could do that song, and you know what? You'd just be a weirdo, because you wouldn't know why they're singing that song.
I'd be a poser, Alex.
Yeah.
That is not something I want to be.
It's like when these kids all bought these Ramones shirts when I was in like 7th, 8th grade. They had no idea who the Ramones are. Like, why are you wearing that? What's a Ramani? Not that bad, but still.
Oh, so sad.
Yeah.
There's some other movies on here you haven't seen.
What do you got?
So you're a big Stephen King fan, and you claim to really be a fan of Shawshank.
That's right.
And you also say you are a big Michael Clark Duncan fan, or at least a casual one, at least.
I would say, yeah, I'm a pretty decent fan of the man's work.
Yet you've yet to see The Green Mile.
But I have seen Scorpion King.
And you've seen Daredevil.
Exactly.
Okay, but you got to see The Green Mile. Like, that is the best of every world.
That's another one. It's just like all the really iconic moments have been ruined.
Oh, God,
and it's like,
no.
I'm sure it's a good movie. It's just, it's just like, again, once those moments get like ruined or discovered, it just becomes less important for me to see it.
Oh, man.
I know I got to see it, and I will at some point.
There's two others here I'm going to loop together because they're both about something. They're not necessarily like movies that I'm just shocked you haven't seen in terms of their quality and like their timelessness and impact on culture as they are relative to you, which is you're a big fan of combat sports.
That's right.
Boxing, MMA, yet you have not seen David O. Russell's The Fighter, nor have you seen Gavin O'Connor's Warrior, both of which are just stellar, not only fighting movies, but just fucking good-ass movies.
I know. Like especially Warrior's the one with Tom Hardy.
Oh, yeah.
It's the MMA one, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if any idea why I haven't seen that.
It's pretty goddamn good.
That Tom Hardy, it's weird. He's got a lot of movies I just haven't seen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's another one on here. Timeless 90s action crime thriller. It'd be Michael Mann's Heat. The first pairing on screen of De Niro and Pacino. And my God, it's a long one, but fuck, man, that is prime cut, like, gunfight action. Oh, man.
I mean, I get that, but again, 3-hour movies are a commitment. So, I can tell you only one time ever where I was like, I'll just throw this on occasionally.
Was it The Deer Hunter?
Which is really random, because that's not like a fun, like, good-hearted romp of an action adventure. It's like a super depressing but really good movie about Vietnam.
Right. Yeah.
But again, that was a one-time deal where I was like, 3 hours. I'll just let my body atrophy for a little bit.
Right. But yeah, that was like one of those movies where like my dad was itching for me to be like of relative age to watch Heat. Like as soon as I turned like 12 or 13, like he'd always be like, watch this part. The final movie on this list is a movie that I am shocked you haven't seen because you're such a big fan of Big Trouble in Little China. You have not seen They Live. What the fuck?
You know, that's one I haven't seen, and I kind of have an explanation.
Yeah.
You know those movie countdown lists?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like, you know, the
top tens?
Not even. The ones like that used to be on TV.
Oh, okay.
You know, the like AFI, like 100 years, 100 songs.
Yeah.
Like those things. Well, I watched one of those, and they went into like what I felt like was too much depth with
For They Live?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think you're missing something when you haven't seen that scene featuring Rowdy Roddy Piper trying to get Keith David to put on a pair of glasses and then coming to blows because of it in an alleyway.
Oh, I've seen that part.
Oh, okay.
See, that's what I'm saying. I've seen that whole fight.
Oh.
And they highlighted it in this countdown thing, whatever I was watching.
Some of those just like they try and showcase movies, but they ruin it for other people, I feel like sometimes.
Yeah, that's exactly what they did. And then on top of that, I've seen them do a frame-for-frame redo of it on South Park.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
When Timmy and Jimmy,
Mm-hmm.
put on the hat, Timmy.
God, it's just such a funny scene. Oh,
Yeah.
man. But
I've heard it's ridiculous.
it very much so is.
Yeah, but it's sort of absurd that we collectively have not seen these.
We've all got our blind spots.
Yes, sir.
All right, everyone, thanks so much for listening to the 7th edition of Bonus Features with Alex and Robert. If you have any comments, questions, feel free to like us on Facebook, reach out to us there, or our YouTube page, or our SoundCloud.
Do you have a favorite obscure movie line from a famous movie? Let us know in the comments section. And tune in next time as we discuss Adult Swim's latest animated hit show, Ballmasters 9009. Till next time, see you then.